They say I'm a dog, baby. Hey, got a little chicken, Bobby's blowing big tree, just wanna go surfing. My Florida chick, she fine online, but she look way better in person. I got one from no crack, don't care where we at, she don't close the curtains. Got a college bitch from the graduate, right now she working. Got a stripper bitch, she don't wear no clothes, right now she twerking. I had this mermaid bitch, but I don't eat seafood, I'm allergic. And I got a dime on the track, cat tight like a side 9 on Shaq. I got a little bitch too fine, but she always lying, this cat in the hat. I got this bitch, can't depend on, so another one got my back. I got this bitch, can't cook for shit, but my wife everything from scratch. Got a flat chested bitch, but that ass super fat. My other bitch ain't got no ass, but them titties where it's at. Boy, I got a white bitch, dick entitled, I call her Karen. I got this black bitch, very selfish, but her name Sharon. I got this bitch, she quiet, I be asking why she nervous. My other hoe be stealing when she leave, I check the purse. Got a little chicken, Bobby's blowing big tree, just wanna go surfing. My Florida chick, she fine online, but she look way better in person. I got one from no crack, don't care where we at, she don't close the curtains. Got a college bitch from the graduate, right now she work. Got a bitty bitch, super skinny, pussy fat, though I got a thick chick who can't get that pussy snap, though. My internet bitch, she like attention, always online. Got this emotional bitch, stay in her feelings, always crying. Why I got the married hoe, she got cooked by a cop. He be talking about me online, and I hope that he don't stop. Try to tell her, but it chill, but it talk too much for real. Man, I talked about me so much, his hoe slid in my DM. Dog, I think I really made it, now they tryna sound gay. I be laughing at the niggas, hitting bitches they can't pay. Hey, I get a lot of hate, and niggas boost my pussy right. And my pocket straight, don't get no fuck when people say. Hey, got a little chicken, Bobby's blowing big tree, just wanna go surfing. My Florida chick, she fine online, but she look way better in person. I got one from no crack, don't care where we at, she don't close the curtains. Got a college bitch from the graduate, right now she working.
Hey, what do you do? Man, your boy live, and it ain't 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, so let's turn it up. Let's turn it up. Let's turn it up. Now, we getting back to a series that I had abandoned months ago. The whole Drake versus Kendrick Lamar thing, I had been covering it as soon as it went down, and I think we covered it pretty thoroughly with the help of What's the Dirt. Salute to What's the Dirt. Yeah. Okay, boom. Started the series. We started it. What's this? May the 3rd. So yeah, we've been on this wave since the summer, or since the beef actually first went down. April the 30th. And as you guys, hey, the number's probably a little bitty on the screen, but as soon as the beef went down and we started covering it, man, numbers went through the roof. Folks started saying I was buying motherfucking views, and the subscribers was going up too. You know what I'm saying? Now, I think people probably realize and understand, after trying to steal my little wave or whatever, that yeah, the content was just hitting. Content was just hitting at that point in time, so we're finna get right back to it. I've been meaning to check out this breakdown, the Family Matters this breakdown. We just gonna try to cross all T's and dot the I's that the homies miss, or if he do miss a bar, if he do miss a reference, or if he do miss something, we got the information. Of course, step in and feel it on that, but shit, I gotta get this bitch back jumping, I gotta get back to work, and I gotta get back consistent. Fuck it, let's go. All OGs, youngest, day ones, new members alike, do what Nightbot said, hit the like button, please. All support is greatly appreciated.
All right, guys. So once again, one at a time, if you haven't been paying attention, I'm breaking down these records in the order that they were released.
Yeah, I think I done seen all of the breakdowns too, except for this.
Which means we're now at Family Matters for Drake. And before I even get started, like, you guys do realize that it is very possible to be a fan of two artists at the same time, right? Like, this is indeed possible. And I fully understand that I'm not getting any popularity points for giving Drake any sort of compliments for this record.
You say something about people don't say something about a person that people like, and watch how motherfuckers treat you. Of course, it's not possible to like two people who don't like each other when you're dealing with a crowd or the masses. Not even the masses. If you're dealing with a group of people, and this group of people like one individual, anybody that said something or say anything to this individual, that group gonna flip on you, nigga. That's how that shit work. I see it happen every day. It happened to me before.
I know for a fact that if I approach this breakdown in a way where I completely shit all over it, I'd get way better feedback from the audience, but I'd also be lying because Drake does indeed make some great points on this record. And I also truly believe that as the years go by, this breakdown will be appreciated and respected. Now, before we even look at Family Matters, we need to look at what Drake was doing on social media leading up to the track, as he posted several things online. First,
hey, Miss B, and just saying, y'all do me a favor, double tap the screen real quick. Just slap that motherfucker twice. Throw a like up in that bit real quick. We get some motion.
Drake posted a photo of his son Adonis looking into a mirror with the caption, "Mirror Time Crody," and this in itself has a couple meanings. First off, Drake is directly responding to Kendrick's shots on Euphoria, where he mocked Toronto slang.
Save 50% on iPhone 16 Pro and all other iPhone 16 models at Cox Mobile.
Hey,
Do you happen to be looking for a new game? Or
I already did. That's what the hell I'm talking about, man. And Miss B was good.
What you do?
You know what I'm saying? Just saying, what's happening?
What you do?
Nightbot, what it do, nigga?
What you do?
or maybe just wanting to try something new? Well, let me tell you about Magic the Gathering.
Don't speak on the family, Crody. It can get deep in the family, Crody.
Secondly, Kendrick has mentioned a mirror in several songs throughout his career.
Behind the mirror, I know what you're scared of. The feeling of feeling emotions inferior. Sometimes I look in the mirror and ask myself, and every day that glass mirror get tougher to watch.
However, the more obvious reason for Drake...
Motherfucking Hood TMZ in the building, what it do, G's? You know what I'm saying? OG, nigga, what's good, bro? Hey, boy, you need to make your way across this water, get down on, you know what I'm saying? Hey, boy, this plant done changed my life. You ain't even smoked one with me yet. Boy, this shit done changed your boy life over here, nigga. You know, I ain't never had no motherfucking ice on. He never been coming like this. It's changed my life, boy. You gotta get in with me, man.
Drake's reference here was with respect to a track on Mr. Morale called Mirror, and this was the outro of the album where he touches on things like self-reflection and internal growth. We also got an Instagram post from Kendrick's fiance.
Okay. Better know if you right. Calvo in this motherfucker too. What it do? Damn right. Hey, and very next stream, I'ma have that InfoL. I'ma have the InfoL Uncut fam membership level available. You know what I'm saying? I think membership now like $3-4. How I had it set up on this channel, I'm gonna bring back that InfoL shit. That you know what I'm saying? That jump for the Lowski. We can make sure everybody get back membered up, and I'm gonna be back consistent again. I had to take a little break, get my, you know what I'm saying, mind, body, soul, spirit together, get my energy levels together. Shit. Get this motherfucker sick off me. Had a little cold and shit. But yeah, now we back, man. I'm ready to take over the game, bro. On this channel. And I'm gonna do it the right way. Gonna keep everything in the green. You know what I'm saying? I ain't everybody look, yeah, everything gonna stay in the green. We're gonna grind this, boy, we're gonna grind this ugly hoe out. We're gonna grind this hoe out. You hear me? But yeah, shit, by this time Christmas, boy, I'm trying to have this channel, this chat, you know what I'm saying, consistently 100 people in it. I just gotta get on my grind, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we about to do. That's what we about to do.
Whitney, where she says, "Sometimes the mirror is a harsh critic. Shit can get real ugly. I'm proud of the work we've done individually and as a family. Kendrick Lamar, thank you for your transparency. Healing can begin." So Drake is telling Kendrick, it's mirror time. It's time for some reflecting again. And next, Drake would post a video from the movie The Equalizer starring Denzel Washington.
"I'm going to kill each and every one of you. And the only disappointment in it for me is that I only get to do it once."
And it was just a couple hours later where Drake would...
I ain't never seen that movie. I never seen that movie, but that's a cold ass line.
post a photo of some caution tape, metaphorically warning everyone about the drop. And then finally, he posted a doctored version of the cartoon Ren and Stimpy, depicting Stimpy as an owl looking at a red button.
Damn, everybody driving today. Just saying, Calvo and Miss B on the road. Hello, nah, Miss B ain't on the road. Oh no, Miss B is on the road too. Everybody goddamn driving today. I need to be on these motherfucking turntables, ain't it? Hey, I need to get the turntables popping, man. Tune y'all up while y'all in the wheel. I'm lacking.
And as you guys know, Drake has mentioned this red button on many tracks before.
If I press this red button, dog, everybody heaven gated. Press this red button, dog, and everything forever changes.
Next, we need to take a look.
I've been waiting on the red button for a long goddamn. Like, I've been waiting on Drake to press the red button on the nigga for a hot second. I think he was blowing the dust off on the red button when he ate Meek up. He definitely did Meek dirty. Know what I'm saying? But I haven't seen him press a red button on a fucking stove. I've been waiting on that.
Look at the track that got entirely overlooked as it was posted with Family Matters, but only on Drake's Instagram account. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about the Buried Alive Part 2 track. Now, if you didn't watch my 616 breakdown, definitely check that out because that's also a theme in that record. On Part 2, Drake cleverly mocks Kendrick's original concept.
If you was in a pine box, I would surely break the lock.
In a pine box, I would shovel dirt on top.
And just a little backstory on the original Buried Alive track because this is important. The last 3 bars of the song was written from Drake's perspective, and this was something that Kendrick revealed in a 2011 Double XL interview. And again, I dove way deeper into why Kendrick wrote this from Drake's perspective in the 616 breakdown. So Drake is really taking a chance to mock Kendrick with this Buried Alive Part 2 track, and this was supposed to be like a cherry on top for Family Matters, but it definitely did not work out that way, as Drake would eventually delete this.
And that's what's so fucked up. That shit fell so flat. That shit so flat. It seemed like nobody caught the references. Like nobody actually fucking cared.
You're the guy with the gun, the person who would do anything to protect the ones you love. But did you know?
If you was in a pine box, I would still be in my spot.
Drake starts off the mocking by insinuating that even if Kendrick was dead, which is unfortunately when people are truly celebrated, that Drake would still be ahead of him. It's a story as old as time, right? Nipsey, Dolph, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain. All these guys get immortalized after they pass away.
Looking in the mirror, still embarrassed. Stop talking how you gonna spare us.
Drake states that Kendrick is still insecure about his position in hip-hop, and even 13 years later, Drake is still big bro. It's exactly how it was on the original Buried Alive track. And this is where he's rebuttaling Kendrick's claims about sparing him on Euphoria.
I can double down on that line, but spare you this time. That's random acts of kindness.
And we'd soon learn that Kendrick would indeed double down because we got Meet the Grams and then we got Not Like Us.
React like an infant whenever I mention. It's like you need tension, I always get attention.
And if you're not familiar with the original Buried Alive track, Drake really is matching this stylistically pretty well bang on. So Drake plays a pretty good angle here as there are many examples of Kendrick using conflict to his advantage. For example, the Control verse was amazing, but let's be real, had he not name dropped all those rappers, it would have been totally forgettable. No, bro, he was shaking up the game. No, he did that for attention. Kendrick Lamar did Control to get attention. That's facts. Then we...
I be me. What it do? Hey.
We've got the BET freestyle where he dissed Drake and then denied doing it after. And while he does do his thing in that cypher, without this element, it wouldn't have caused much buzz. That was the only reason why the cypher made headlines, and he's done similar shock value things like the Heart Part 4, and now again, he did it on the Like That record. And let's not sugarcoat it, these were massive moments for Kendrick. And J. Cole said the exact same thing.
White guy here for bars, not no controversy.
So both Drake and J. Cole feel the exact same way.
Y'all.
J. Cole just weak as fuck for backing out. He did not have to do that. Still to this day, I believe J. Cole did not have to back. He didn't have to back out of that shit. Over time, I feel like people gonna forget, and he gonna be able to drop a couple hard verses, kill a couple features. You know what I'm saying? Slip back into a place of respect with the hip hop community, but as of right now, I still feel like he shouldn't have did.
Always say how you.
Hell yeah, Miss. Hey, I be me. What it do? Shit, you tell me.
What it do?
You tell me what's going on.
Wanna bury me alive? Jealousy disguises your motherfucking pride.
So, coming off the last line about seeking attention, Drake appears to reference Kendrick's shots on Control, where he essentially said that he was trying to get Drake and all the other rappers out of here and more or less bury them.
But I'm trying to murder you, trying to make sure your core fans never heard of you.
In the second line, Drake claims that Kendrick was always jealous of his success, and I personally believe that this was true at one point, as we have Kendrick's own words to support this.
Me and my girl split the bucket, KFC. She listening to Drake, and all I can say, damn, these that much better than me, baby.
So, I mean, this was 15 years ago, in 2009. Whitney is listening to Drake. He sounds pretty jealous to me. And some might argue that this isn't jealousy and that it's really a genuine dislike for how Drake represents a part of hip-hop that Kendrick doesn't respect. But if this were true, then why collaborate with Drake in the first place?
And the worst part about it, he could play it to Drake like, bro, I'll give you a shout out. Bro, I'll give you a shout out like that. You know what I'm saying? He could play it like he was showing love too. Nasty little.
If you were really against what Drake was doing musically or what that stood for, and you're this real dude, then why work with Drake in the first place? Because that would be fake, right? Drake had everything that Kendrick ever wanted, and even on the original Buried Alive track, he talks about how he felt when he found out that Drake was the same age as him, but was way more successful.
He said that he was the same age as myself, and it didn't help because it made me even more rude and impatient.
I don't know what else you want to call this, but jealousy and envy, because that is what this is.
Exactly. I mean, goddamn, bro, yeah, he definitely exposed himself for being that's a tad bit jelly.
Took you on your first tour with us trying to catch a vibe. I was headline, you was standing on the side, brought you and that other hoe along for the ride.
So again, Drake delivers nothing but facts here. Even on the original Buried Alive track, Kendrick seemed extremely excited about meeting Drake, almost like he was finally going to get his moment because of it.
Felt like the initiation, a reality living in the Matrix.
So I mean, even then he's saying meeting Drake was like an initiation, like he's finally getting his moment. Shit's finally going to cut through. Wow, Drake, like, you know, that's what this is. And this turned out to be 100% true, and Drake is quick to bring this up because he really did take Kendrick and A$AP Rocky on their first big tour. Drake was indeed headlining while these guys were on the sidelines, and even Kendrick himself said he was not used to these big crowds and that he
a dirty game, I mean. It's a dirty ass game out here. Man.
Was overwhelmed with the look that Drake just gave him.
Nigga Drake holding us down, you know what I mean, putting us out there to see this motherfucking crowd that we ain't seen before, me and A$AP. The transition of me doing the 2,000 venues I've been doing back then is a little sketchy for me doing this 10,000. I gotta really work some motherfucking magic.
So I do think it's safe to say that Kendrick once held a degree of envy towards Drake, and this isn't the first time that Drake held this tour over his head, as he's brought it up multiple times now. First, it was 2013 on the remix with Future.
Inside the hood like I'm from there, so you know it's all good when I come there. I hear you talk about your city like you run there, then I'm from a tour to your city, you my son there.
Then he...
God, I don't care what nobody said. That's one of the most that's something put up. At the time, I didn't know who the hell he was talking about. I just know he was spitting on that beat.
Mention it again on 4 p.m. in Calabasas.
When he told me take an R&B.
And he had that Jordan line on that motherfucker. I feel amazing. Hit Michael Jordan up and Mike will make it. Something like that. That nigga was going crazy on that bitch, boy.
On the road, and I told him no and drew for Kendrick and Rocky.
And I believe that he was referring to this again on a more recent track, Red Button.
Wells Fargo has provided...
I kind of want to hear that song now.
$5.6 million to help launch financial health initiatives at HBCUs and funded over $107 million.
Don't worry about it. I'm going to be spinning on
Got you to the spot.
I'm going to be spinning on Uncut tonight. I'm going to still keep MOB Only Uncut to work in new DJ mixes and work out with my little DJ mixes and shit. And I'm really getting close to getting booked for a motherfucking little show. Getting booked for my first little giggity gig as a DJ, cuz. Close. Oh, close. I'm about to lock one of these bitches up. I'm gonna be goddamn getting booked and doing little gigs sooner than I thought. Kind of getting better with this shit faster than expected too, but hey, make sure you don't Uncut tonight though. I'm gonna be spending the night. Probably about, you know what I'm saying, a couple hours. I'm spending a couple hours. Make sure y'all follow through. See what I got going on. Not monetized at all, so I'll support. Definitely appreciate it.
And then you separated, reasons for it speculated.
I don't think anyone could deny the shine that Drake gave these guys, and I do believe Drake wanted them to win. Now, to be fair, which I am, Kendrick did go on a tour in 2010 with Tech N9ne called The Independent Grind before ever meeting Drake. The venues were definitely a lot smaller, and his name wasn't even featured on the flyers, but he did get some exposure from this tour. I'm sure those shows were instrumental in helping them with his stage performance and all kinds of shit, right? There's also the fact that even before the Buried Alive feature on Drake's album, Kendrick had already dropped Section 80, which gave him a lot of buzz in itself and prompted West Coast legends to hand him the torch on stage.
I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna mean this. You got the torch, you better run with it.
So this whole handing of the torch thing was in August of 2011. That's 3 months before the Buried Alive track came out. At the end of the day, yes, Drake gave Kendrick a massive boost, but to say that Drake made Kendrick who he is would be insane. Kendrick Lamar is who he is as an artist because he's Kendrick Lamar. Let's just make that clear. I believe Cream rises to the top, like even without TDE, even without Drake, whoever. I still think Kendrick would have found a way.
First time people lined up for your ass, now you saying two pussy boys getting out of line.
Drake rebuttals Kendrick's comments on Euphoria about how J. Cole and Drake were giving each other props while on stage. So I feel Drake's pretty much saying, you know, me and Cole are giving each other props on stage, and that bothers you that much? Like, you got issues, bro. You're a hater. You're jealous. And when Drake states that this was the first time that anyone lined up for him, he's alluding to just how small the venues were that Kendrick performed at, and the fact that his name was never on the flyer, and on Drake's tour, he actually was on the flyer. No matter how you spin it, it was a whole different ballgame when they went on tour with Drake. It was. Drake's cosign is a reminder to both ASAP and Kendrick that he really did help them, and while this is a fact, it's not really a hard-hitting angle, as this is already beyond public information. I'd still give Drake a couple points for this angle because it is true, but it's also very predictable.
You been hating hard for a very long time. Feel like Twitter goes right in your reply.
Drake brings up the fact that many of Kendrick's angles in Euphoria and 616 were already pre-existing narratives that were in circulation about Drake already. At the end of the day, Kendrick didn't reveal anything new about Drake on those tracks. Most of the narratives were already unhatched by either the public or other people that dissed Drake in the past.
That's how you felt in 2011 while we wasting time. Dreams come true, Crody. This is where you die.
Alright, so on Kendrick's original Buried Alive track, from Drake's perspective, he tells Kendrick to accept the fame and states that Kendrick should bury himself in money, power, pussy, and fame. It's here where Kendrick left fans wondering, would he fall victim to these temptations, or would he have the willpower to avoid it?
So dig a shovel full of money, full of power, full of pussy, full of fame, and bury yourself alive. Then I died.
So it's on Family Matters where Drake will craft a narrative that Kendrick was not only someone that clearly lost this fight, but as someone that secretly lived a life not all that different from Drake's, as this is truly what he always wanted. With a history of infidelity, messing with groupies, and a self-proclaimed sex addiction, Kendrick did indeed get buried by the temptations of the industry, and it's here where Drake sets his funeral.
Dreams come true, Crody. This is where you die.
Gourmet shark. Crazy thing is, those angles, whether they may be true or not, those angles that Drake took obviously wasn't as effective as the motherfucking pedophile allegations. You get to talk about messing around with little kids and shit.
Cootery.
Hey, you're gonna lose every time, dog.
Everyday low prices. It's an Aldi thing.
This is the vampire Louis Dulac.
So this Buried Alive track got totally overlooked. I don't even think anyone covered it on YouTube or broke it down, but he is saying a lot here, and he does come with some pretty good angles, so I felt like I had to cover it. And by the way, if you're wondering what I'm wearing, this is my merch. My first run ever. I put a lot of thought into this design. It completely captures the whole moment of the beef. This thing is in every sense of the word a true conversation piece. I incorporated elements of all the diss tracks into this dope looking comic book cover. You can see how the push-ups track is physically a shoebox. The items from Meet the Grams are physically on the desk. We also got the actual glove from 616 chilling on the wall here. Euphoria and The Hard Part 6 are shown on my computer screens. The big records, Family Matters and Not Like Us, are posters on the wall. We got a little owl chilling on the mic here. Kendrick's crown of thorns is resting on the chair. I'm hyped on it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I went through 8 different vendors in the process of finding the right materials for this clothing. I tested each shirt out. I washed them, dried them. Basically, I made sure that these products would definitely hold up. I've been getting a ton of feedback on the quality already. They're really...
Gotta get me one. Gotta have one. I'm getting me one of some bitches.
Heavyweight. There's nothing cheap about it. I wanted my first merch drop to be a reflection of what I do on the channel, hence why the setting of the comic is designed based on my actual computer setup. It's a really good way to support me, but you're also going to get this really dope, one-of-a-kind shirt that I guarantee is going to spark debate. Like, people are going to be... This thing's going to cause arguments, right? And you can put it up on your wall if you want to. A lot of people are doing that. I got t-shirts, crew necks, hoodies, a bunch of different colors, shipping worldwide. All you got to do is head over to whatsthedirt.net to scoop one. Once again, that's whatsthedirt.net, and I appreciate you guys more than you know. And now we finally get into the big fish, Family Matters, and when Drake finally dropped this record, he included the caption, "Stop trying to piece together what I know and go pick up the pieces of your broken home." And we'll hear more about this later. Now, unlike what people believe, Kendrick is not the only artist that can get busy when it comes to numbers and dates. Drake did an insane move with how he rolled out the back-to-back track against Meek. That whole setup was absolutely wild. And he suddenly does this again as he released the record on May 3rd, which, as you'll see later in this track, is a significant date, as this was when Kendrick performed at the Hard Rock Cafe, and this is when he allegedly put hands on Whitney, which is a large part of a premise of a track called Family Matters. Speaking of the title, let's look at this next, as it does hold significant meaning and acts as Drake's main angle as we move further into the track. And we're gonna get there. Now, at a surface level, the words Family Matters could be viewed as 1, family matters, meaning family is important, or 2, there's family issues at play, and in a legal sense, family matters usually pertains to proceedings for things like divorce, child custody, or domestic violence. And in this track, there's pretty much elements of all that.
Hey man, that's a dope ass shirt. Salute to What's the Dirt. I'm about to grab that hoe.
And of course, as you guys know, Kendrick often explores themes of family, loyalty, and social issues in his music, and this is an angle that Drake will later exploit. A large part of Drake's angle on this track is to paint Kendrick as a hypocrite. That is his goal. The title is also a reference to the popular 90s sitcom Family Matters, set in Chicago, where Kendrick's family is from. His parents grew up on the south side of Chicago, with his father involved with the Gangster Disciples. They would later move to Compton, where Kendrick was born and raised, amid gang life. Now, while some of his uncles were gang members, Kendrick was only loosely affiliated, never fully involved. Drake uses the Family Matters reference to liken Kendrick to Steve Urkel, the nerdy neighbor who wasn't part of the family, but was always around. And this is a narrative we've heard from Drake throughout the whole beef, right? You're not that guy. You're not snatching any chains. You're a sweetheart. You're soft. Now, the artwork is essentially a carbon copy of the design for the Family Matters show, with the only difference being that the show had Chicago in the background and Drake used an LA skyline. I even found the original image that Drake used. Basically, it's just an Adobe stock image that he purchased for $105 Canadian. Not the most original cover, but the concept is there. Now that we looked at the title and the artwork, let's take a look at the beat selection. Structurally, this track is composed of 3 different beats, with 6 producers being credited, which is not a coincidence, as Drake is meeting Kendrick's demands from the Like That record. And that's exactly what Drake did. This track does have 3 beats, 3 switches. The first beat, I could say with 100% certainty, was produced by Tay Keith, Drama Kid, and Preem, as I found this info on Drama Kid's Instagram. I also confirmed that the second beat was produced by Kevin Mitchell, as I sourced this info from his Twitter account. And quite a few of these producers aren't big names. Like, no one even mentioned these guys, even though they are part of like this massive moment. So I left their socials in the description. Give them a follow. Now, from what I could tell, the only track that had samples was the third beat, which is a sample called Conclusions by Grodek Whipperjenny. Grodek Whipperjenny was a band out of the 70s with 2 main members being James Brown and Dave Matthews. I listened to a bunch of their stuff and it's all honestly phenomenal. I learned that David Matthews in particular has been sampled in hip-hop a bunch of times before. From what I could tell, Drake's beat selection doesn't really have any big hidden meanings or anything, not that I could find. So right off rip, Drake goes beyond just giving us the audio for this track as we get a full-on music video with it. Now, what you'll notice is the thumbnail on YouTube is different from the DSP artwork, as what we see is a 1996 Plymouth Voyager about to get crushed. And we will talk more about this van later in the video. To start off visually, Drake begins by spinning a G-Unit chain, really supporting his claims from push-ups.
Dang.
The G-Unit chain is definitely symbolic, as it more or less acted as the mascot for G-Unit, and 50 was known for beefing with multiple opponents, being extremely ruthless and petty. Now, many people assume that 50 gave this chain to Drake, but this is completely false, as Drake had this chain custom made by Johnny Dang.
As you mentioned my seed and I deal with his dad, I gotta go bad, I gotta go bad.
Which really tells me that Drake had all this set up and planned, likely even before the push-ups track dropped, as you'll see him execute specific things in this video that didn't happen overnight. This took some time to put together. There's no doubt that a lot of effort went into this. I mean, buying the chain, getting it made, buying the van, all that stuff took time. Now, as far as Drake's relationship with 50, they both seem to have a mutual respect for one another, and they even took a bunch of photos together after the beef. So even though Drake made the chain himself, he more than likely had 50's blessing, right? He probably okayed it. And in the very first few seconds of the video, there's another layer of symbolism. If you look closely, Drake is wearing a FUBU shirt and flashes the middle finger, which is clearly a bold response to Kendrick's shots on Euphoria. And I was able to find the exact design that he was wearing, and it's like 90s vintage FUBU, so he's really saying fuck you.
Well, FUBU never had been your collection.
Drake starts off the track with a direct rebuttal to Kendrick's claims on Euphoria when Kendrick clowned him for his use of the N-word.
We don't wanna hear you say nigga no more.
Drake strategically trolls Kendrick by getting his own mother to start off the track, requesting that Drake not use the word.
Maybe in this song, you shouldn't start by saying,
Nigga, I said it, I know that you mad.
It's pretty...
I thought this was very nice.
Clever, because his mother probably doesn't approve of him using this word either. She probably asked him many times over the years not to use it, but she ultimately couldn't do anything about it because Drake is half black, the other side of his family uses it, so she had really zero say in the matter. So he's pretty much saying, like, my own mom couldn't stop me. You're definitely not going to. And what's also really clever here is that Drake is 37 years old, and he says the N-word 37 times on this track. And I believe his reasons for doing this is he's basically saying the word for every year that he's been alive to symbolize that he was indeed born black. And look, I know this is all about culture and not really about race, but no matter how you spin it, a lot of the themes that Kendrick uses in his own music, Drake's family also went through, and that is his heritage. I went through his dad's entire genealogy. His family's from the Deep South, right? They were indeed enslaved. They really had it bad, and you can't remove that blood from Drake. So a lot of the things that Kendrick talks about is also Drake's heritage, and you can't take that away. Now,
all that being true, I'm gonna tell you what's really, really, really impressive about this dude, and the reason why I watch him. 37, matching up him saying the N-word 37 times with Drake being 37 years old, I wouldn't have caught that. So that's why I really, really, really like these videos. I think shit like that cool. Hip-hop nerds love shit like that.
Let's finally get into the bars, and what you'll notice here is that Drake includes the lyrics for the entire song with the video. So he doesn't want to get anything misconstrued. Like, here's the lyrics, here's what I mean, it's all right there for you guys.
I've emptied the clip over friendlier jabs. You mentioned my seed and I deal with his dad. I gotta go bad, I gotta go bad.
In the first line, Drake claims that he's emptied the clip over
100% real. What it do? What's up with it, bro? 100% real when in the building.
What do you do?
over friendlier jabs, which to me could only be one beef, and that was his back and forth with Meek Mill. Now, I don't feel like Meek going online and putting Drake on blast for having ghostwriters was really a friendly jab. In the second line, Drake directly responds to Kendrick's lines on Euphoria about his son Adonis, where Kendrick accused him of not instilling the same family values and more or less painted Drake as a deadbeat dad.
That's whole shit. I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that.
So in the last line, Drake says, "I gotta go bad," which could be in reference to two things. First, and the most obvious, Drake's about to snap, he's about to black out and take things to a whole other level. Secondly, due to the Drake and Michael Jackson comparisons, Drake could be making a reference to MJ's 1987 hit Bad, where the theme of the record is essentially how Mike is a good guy, but he's now turning bad to fight against people that belittled and disrespected him. And it kind of reminded me of the feature that he did with Meek, that going bad feature.
Still going bad on you anyway.
Drake then picks right back up from where he left off with push-ups.
Yeah, drop.
Now, the moment he breaks into this melody, a shot is shown of a van resembling Kendrick's childhood van, famously covered on Good Kid, Mad City, being towed in Toronto with a clear image of the CN Tower in frame. Now, many people seem to believe that Drake physically somehow purchased Kendrick's family van, but this is simply not the case. As you can see, these vans are similar, but Kendrick's family van is a 96 Dodge Caravan, whereas the van in the video is a 96 Plymouth Voyager. You could see the trim's different, the rims are different, it's just not the same van. And in the beginning, I was really surprised with Drake's lack of detail because finding the exact same model would have been a way better flex.
Damn, Drake.
Embarrassing.
You caught that shit.
But I literally scoured the internet myself to try to find the same van to purchase, and it was pretty much impossible. I think Drake just found the closest thing that he could, which was the Voyager, and it served its purpose for the video. Drake contracted a company by the name of Charisma Auto to transport this van, and I even dug up this company's TikTok account where they proudly announced their involvement. And as you can see, even the transport company itself clearly labels this van as a Voyager and not a Caravan. That is straight from the transport company, and they gotta document the make and the model and all that shit. What's interesting about Charisma Auto is they only transport very high-end luxury exotic vehicles, and as you can see, Drake definitely has a rapport with this company, as they delivered at least 4 vehicles that I could find to him in the past. It's funny that Drake used this very high-end transport company. Like, I guarantee that that van was like the shittiest thing that's ever been on that flatbed. So I actually did not cover these lyrics in my push-ups breakdown because I had a really good feeling that this would resurface in an upcoming track. And because I didn't cover it there, let's cover it now. Drake starts off begging Kendrick to drop, and you gotta keep in mind, this was recorded before we heard Euphoria or 616. Not again. It was at this point where Drake showed a lot of confidence in the information that he had, and he seemed to think that Kendrick wouldn't have much to say. He's pretty much saying, drop. I dare you to fucking drop. Do it.
Drop a 50 bag for the mob in a spot. Drop a 50 bag, 29 for the thought.
Drake takes it,
and he did.
Embarrassing.
all the way to Houston, which is where his mob ties with the Prince family resides. He makes a reference to a Houston strip club called Area 29, which is not only a place that he frequents, but an establishment that he seemingly blesses with hundreds of thousands of dollars every time he's there. And on the same day that the Push-Ups track dropped, the owner of Area 29's Instagram account posted this video with the caption, Push-Ups. They were probably really hyped to get mentioned in that record, and Drake's mentioned these guys before.
Really trying to keep it PG.
Drake claims that he was really trying to keep things PG, which is obviously an acronym for parental guidance in film, but it also acts as a double entendre as he's making a reference to Kendrick's record label, PG Lang. Basically, Drake is saying that he really wanted to keep this record aimed at Kendrick only, but because all these artists dogpiled on top of him, he's forced now to deal with them too. He's saying he wanted to keep this PG, right? He wanted to keep this to just Kendrick, but now he's firing on everyone.
If you had
Damn it! Damn it. I will be honest, I didn't catch that. I didn't piece that together. I did not piece that together. I'm like, why the fuck you talking about I want to keep some shit PG? That's weak as hell. Like, damn. I'm now mad I didn't catch that.
Embarrassing.
Said they give your ass a DP. Two civilian gang in real life, you PC.
Now, the first thing I notice here is that for all the effort that went into making this video, Drake has the wrong lyrics on the screen. On the video, it's clearly written as two civilian getting real like you PC.
Two civilian gang in real life, you PC.
But hey, I'm probably the last person to cast judgment because you guys tell me in the comments every video of the spelling errors that I make. Now, some people...
I did that on a lyric video before. Fuck it, it's alright.
Embarrassing.
Seem to think that these lines were directed at Rick Ross, but this is 100% a shot at Kendrick. Drake claims that if Kendrick really had a set, meaning if he was really a gang member, they would give him a DP to knock his ass back in line. Now, a DP is synonymous in gang culture, and it's basically a form of disciplinary action. If a member gets out of line, misrepresents the gang, or puts the gang in harm's way, they're going to get the beats. And if you don't think Kendrick was acting a little bit hard or flexing some gang shit in his beef, Just look at what he was saying.
If he walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre DK. Think I won't try the location.
He's talking about the strap.
That's a K with all these nines. He gon' see Pet Cemetery.
More gun talk.
Extortion my middle name as soon as you jump off of that plane, bitch.
I mean, he's pretty much claiming that when Drake touches down, he's got to check in.
All in the coffee.
Again with the blicky.
Someone go bleed in your family, Crody.
Someone is going to bleed in your family.
Eating fried rice with a dip sauce and a blammy, Crody.
Now he's talking about the blammy. And although Kendrick claims to be a civilian himself, he doesn't play his hand as a civilian on these tracks, and Drake is pointing out that Kendrick is really a sweetheart, and all this tough talk is an act. He refers to Kendrick as being a PC, which in prison stands for protective custody. This is where the most vulnerable inmates go, which often includes non-gang members to help protect them. Drake is basically saying that Kendrick isn't that guy, he never was that guy, and he's very far removed from anything remotely close to gang life. Which is really a fact. I mean, Kendrick is not out here in the trenches. Let's just be real.
You know who really bang set my nigga YG?
So Drake makes a critical mistake here. He references YG as being a friend of his who is a full-on blood. I guess Drake really put a lot of stock into what he thought could have been their friendship, but YG is from the West Coast, a place that Drake mocked on Taylor Made. And it was only 20 days later where YG dropped the track that to me is a very obvious diss to Drake.
Crazy thing, Drake thought he had a lot of motherfuckers. Thought it was cool. He thought a lot of motherfuckers were gonna take his side for that Drake verse. They showed his ass quick too.
So right off rip, you'll notice that YG also uses lyrics on the screen, which is unusual, as he's clearly mocking Drake's Family Matters video. Furthermore, he uses words like "in your feelings," which is a reference to Drake's big hit.
When it's smoke, don't ever mention my name. You gon' have me jeopardizing my fame, jeopardizing the game, jeopardizing what you hate.
Viably will fund your e-commerce business with working capital to extend your cash flow. Sign up for free, connect your e-commerce accounts, and receive funding offers tailored to your business.
And as
when did YG did straight?
you could see here, he's clearly not happy about Drake mentioning his name in Family Matters, and even if they are friends, which it looks like they aren't, roping YG into this thing was very miscalculated. And YG claimed this wasn't about Drake. That is a lie. This is clearly about Drake. The whole record has shots. It's about Drake. In a war like this, you can't set yourself up for things to backfire on you like this. The optics did not look good at all when we saw YG was front and center at Kendrick's pop-out show. Now, I highly doubt YG will ever get any more features from Drake, so hopefully that was worth it for him. We'll see in time.
You know who really bang set my nigga Chuck T.
Next, Drake makes reference to the game who actually has...
I like how this dude is a tour guide in the culture. I mean, you can say that, but somebody from the culture has to put in the work that he putting in on his videos and give us something to watch. Nobody is putting in the work that he's putting in on these videos. Ain't no niggas taking the time to break that shit down like that, so that's why he's doing it. I mean, that part kind of obvious to see why he getting the, why bro get the love he get, or why he get the support he get on his video. Cause ain't nobody gonna sit here and break this shit down like that. Or nobody's taking the time to detail it and edit all of this shit. Yeah, you can be the tour guide if you gonna sit down and I edit all this shit out. Like he doing it. I watch you over him. But is you gonna sit down and edit all this shit out like that? Nope. You know what I'm saying?
Has a relationship with both of these guys. Now, I gotta be honest, a lot of people gave the game flack for not showing up at the pop-out show, but I personally respect what the game did here. Much like many artists, Drake has done a lot for the game, and he's one of very few...
Ain't nothing wrong with your opinion. That's my opinion on your opinion. Shit, until a nigga sit there and do the work that goddamn he's doing in these videos, then motherfucker can't really complain, huh? Academics ain't sitting there detailing this shit out, breaking this shit down like that, and editing the videos himself. We ain't got nobody doing the shit, bro. Ain't nobody got time to do the shit. So, I don't know. I mean, shit, your opinion may not be wrong, or you're entitled to your opinion, but shit, I just say be fair.
That really showed
Bursky.
some loyalty here. I don't think it was necessary for him to turn on Drake. He stayed neutral throughout the entire beef, and hopefully Kendrick also understood.
You siding with this nigga and that nigga. When the fuck y'all heard me say a motherfucking thing about who I'm siding with or this and that, nigga? I'll be in my own lane chilling, nigga, taking care of my kids out the fucking way, nigga. That's how I made it this far in this fucking game.
You know who even banging set out there? See,
man, them niggas left his ass out to hang. I wonder why the fuck Drake thought all these West Coast niggas was gonna be like, yeah, Drizzy, get his ass. Like, he ain't read the room right on this play at all. That's one thing I will say. Drake ain't read the room right on that play.
Embarrassing.
But Fizzle, what it do though, ugly ass nigga?
What it do?
First skinny bitch.
What it do?
Drake then makes a reference to Chris Brown, and many might think this is a gimmick, but Chris really is a full-on Fruittown Pyru, and this is a really great little dig, because Chris Brown is an R&B singer from Virginia, but unlike Kendrick, a Compton native who was only an affiliate, Chris is a full-on gang member. Drake is saying, like, you're so soft that even this R&B guy is harder than you. He's an actual gang member. And when it comes to Chris Brown, although he did have a heated beef with Drake that eventually got squashed, I believe he's also a neutral party in this beef. We got a video of Chris Brown bopping around in the club to Not Like Us.
I think Chris still don't like that motherfucker.
But let's be real, like, Not Like Us, it's a banger. Like, it's hard not to bop your head to it. It's pretty much impossible. And then it was just days later, he was singing Drake on stage.
Chris Brown don't give a fuck about now one of them niggas as long as he getting booked. As long as he getting booked, that man just want to sing his songs and dance. You think he give a fuck about them niggas?
I've been in law enforcement for over 3 decades.
That's funny.
The crisis at the border.
And a lot of people seem to forget this, but Chris Brown did sort of pay homage to Drake on his diss to Quavo.
I ran your ass through the ringer, nigga. You just got body by singing, nigga.
So,
facts. That's very true. Very true. Very true. Very true. Very true. And you know what?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
How the fuck did Quavo let that happen? How did I damn near about forgot that happened? On the sneak. I can't wait for the year wrap up when somebody like, you know what I'm saying, go back through this year and Uncle Murder do the motherfucking year wrap ups, or like how what's my nigga used to do that shit? Mad Skills used to do the wrap ups too. I couldn't wait to hear them shits, dog. This year gonna be fire. They gonna talk about Trump getting shot and everything, nigga. This year, the yearly wrap up, like when we recap 2024 was fucking exciting, nigga. Oh God, Diddy, oh God, Diddy gonna take up most of the recap. But think about when motherfuckers get to recap in 24. This is a historic year, bro. We seeing a lot of motherfucking history go down. This is a real pivotal year in motherfucking culture. Goddamn. In the world, period, Craig. This year been fucking crazy if y'all think about it just a little bit.
Well, by Drake mentioning all 3 of these guys, he clearly thought that this was something he could lean on. He definitely felt like they were in his corner.
Nigga Cole losing sleep on this, it ain't me.
Unlike J. Cole, who apologized for his diss and said he was losing sleep over it, Drake does not have this issue. And no matter how you want to slice this...
That's my favorite line on the song. The rest of the shit, I just like the beat. I like that beat, man. Drake could have said anything on that beat. I was gonna fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? The producer in me really fucks with that beat. The rapper in me loved that. That nigga Chris loses sleep over that shit. That ain't me, nigga. I fucking love that line. I said Chris. Talking about J. Cole. Yeah, that nigga Cole loses sleep about this shit. That ain't me, nigga. I thought that shit was fire. That's some asshole shit that I would say. That's why I like that line, but shit. I don't know. All in all, niggas still lost though.
Drake is indeed slighting J. Cole with this line. Cole losing sleep on this, it ain't me.
That's the hardest fucking line in the song, dog. That's the hardest one. That's the hardest one.
Do like that line. Now, as far as the visuals go for the video,
I love it.
We finally get to see the van being delivered to a crusher, and we can see a loader in the distance making its way through the scrapyard with the van.
have some paperwork that shit fake tea. Can't be rapping about no ratting that we can't read.
So this is a very surface level response to Kendrick's claims on Euphoria, where he compared Drake to Gunna for being a rat.
I know some shit about niggas that make Gunna wanna look like a saint.
How?
Hold up. Wait. I just seen.
You could see a loader in the distance making its way through the scrapyard with the van.
You better have some paperwork that shit fake tea. Can't be rapping about no ratting that we can't read.
So this is a very surface level response to Kendrick's claims on Euphoria, where he compared
Fucking unoriginal fucks. I'ma roast the shit out of niggas time I see one of the homies too. I'ma roast the shit out of his ass next time I see him. Now I know why niggas running around this bitch wearing pearls, trying to be like Drake.
Drake to Gunna for being a rat.
I know some shit about niggas that make Gunna wanna look like a saint.
However, in hindsight, you'll notice later in this track that Drake accuses Kendrick of certain actions that would also require documentation to really substantiate. Now, these guys are both guilty of this. They're both throwing accusations, allegations, whatever you want to call it, at each other with zero proof, zero paperwork, nothing.
I mean, it's true, a nigga slimy for my AP.
So let's finally put this thing to rest. Drake was robbed at gunpoint back in 2010 after leaving a restaurant with a woman by the name of Chantel Brown. They stole a chain which was gifted from Wayne, an AP watch, and $2,000. The thieves quickly got caught by police because they were going down the wrong way of a one-way street. How the police got the information to identify these men is unclear, but the two suspects were identified as Socrates Carell and Paul Letou. The charges were later dropped, and the two men pleaded guilty to a lesser charge. Now, shortly after these charges were laid, some paperwork did leak, and I'm not 10 Nani Jake, but as it's written here, there's nothing indicating that Drake spoke to authorities. And just so you know, in Canada, I don't know what it's like anywhere else, but you don't have a choice. Like the cops, police, they lay the charge. You can even tell them, no, I don't want to cooperate. I don't want to press charges. Don't matter. The police are the ones who make the call. So in my very honest opinion, it's highly likely that Drake refused to cooperate, which caused the prosecution's case to be very weak. It's for this reason that the Crown was forced to accept a plea deal where the suspects pleaded to a lesser charge. I'm going to say there's a 95% chance that that is what happened.
And I made the decision to not put those guys away, to not go to trial, you know, despite whatever. And I don't know what anybody else is talking about, but it's public record in Canada. You can see I wasn't there. I was in Miami. I wasn't at the trial.
So it seems like Drake even tried to be out of the country just so he didn't have to deal with this. And I know people were saying that Drake was corny for taking lyrics from Kendrick's Mr. Morale and using it against him, but
Drake trying to be a real nigga. Found out Drake realer than 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine would have sent their ass up the river, boy. Bet them niggas would have robbed 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine could have told on that motherfucker. That he'd have told on them, that dog, the motherfucking baby mama, and the goddamn little girls.
Kendrick is essentially doing the same with this very public info, as Drake has mentioned this robbery on several tracks himself.
Maybe it was the fast-paced switch up or the 2 guns in my face during the stick up.
And Drake makes it clear that the girl that he was with set him up.
Maybe because a girl I thought I trusted was who set the whole shit up.
And he mentioned it again on From Florida with Love.
Play that shit for me.
How many times I done played that song and I ain't even think the process, oh damn, this nigga talking about getting robbed. I'm just vibing, smoking like, damn, this shit sound good. That was one of them motherfuckers, I think that was on Fireworks, wasn't it? The shit that had Alicia Keys on the hook. Oh my. Wayne sat there and told your ass, bro, keep making shit like that. Don't switch up. Don't try to do the gangster shit, nigga. Do you, nigga. Do your Canadian shit. Do your shit. Wayne sat there and told this nigga don't switch up. That fucking album was so hard, nigga. Alicia Keys on the hook on that Fireworks, nigga. Oh my God. That bitch was one of them ones. That motherfucker one of them ones. Boy, I just got flooded with memories off that goddamn song.
Me and Kobe on the bus. When it got a chain from me, I had to give it up.
So he's talked about losing the chain from Wayne.
Niggas had they pistol loaded, pointed in my truck.
Damn.
He then goes on to say that he's learned from this and that it hasn't happened
On
since.
that day, I never touched a road without a plug. Hasn't happened since. I guess you niggas know what's up.
Hey, goddamn. Hold up, From Florida with Love. I gotta go find that song. I feel like I never heard that shit. I didn't listen to the album that had that cover that much either. So that's on me. I might have missed this whole little bop. And this shit hella sped up super duper fast. So I probably recognize it at regular speed too. But nigga, hey, nigga. Damn.
How many single-family houses, single-family homes would it take to equal one multifamily?
As far as Sean,
I ain't gonna fake. I'm not gonna fake. This time, and I'm just speaking for myself. I'm only speaking for myself. I don't feel like nigga music gonna hit the same. I don't feel the old shit for shit sure. Everything pre-Kendrick for shit sure. I probably could catch a vibe. You know what I'm saying? Probably could rock out with it still. But like, I don't know, dog. Bro really got a snap on every fucking thing he dropped, cause as of now, everything that I've heard post Kendrick been fucking trash. Nigga, what my nigga Bubba Dub say? Trash. Fucking trash. Everything that man done dropped post Kendrick been fucking trash, bro. I ain't heard one. Matter of fact, one of them motherfuckers sound like he about stole it from me, cuz. I'm not even joking. So shit, like, and it's not, I feel like in my mind I can't receive the music the same. The shit just don't sound good. That's the honest truth. It really don't sound like, oh, bro better get in the motherfucking bag. ASAP, nigga. For real. Kendrick already done got the little #1 spot. He done pulled off with that. Everything that nigga dropped, like people gonna fuck with it or give it a look. He gonna get them goddamn numbers. That nigga can come on the microphone and spit on the goddamn roach and people gonna fuck with it. I'm like, Drake really can't miss at this point. And like that shit gotta be golden era Drake level good, nigga. All this shit gotta hit from this point forward. Honestly.
Montel, Socrates, and Paul, I can't find any information about these suspects. I don't know if they're dead. I don't know if they changed their names. There is nothing on these people.
Just like how Metro nigga sliding for his main squeeze.
Drake gets really petty here, making the claim that Metro Boomin's girlfriend, who goes by the name of Chelsea Cotton, slept with one of his close friends. Now, Metro was quick to take to Instagram in an attempt to debunk these claims, saying, "Nobody ever hit my girl. We grew up together. She's a real woman, and she's not even in the industry." Now, the friend that I think he could be talking about that slept with her is Future. In the line, Drake is really messing with Metro's head as he ensures to make use of the word slime, and it was just 2 months prior that Metro and Future released a song called Slimed In. Now, this of course could really be a reach, but it is possible that Drake is making a reference to Future sleeping with Metro's girl. And it could be directed at anyone close to Metro, but I felt like the Future thing is the only compelling thing that I could find. As far as the visuals go, it's at this point where the loader heads towards the van and positions the forks to begin the lift.
Out here begging for attention, nigga, say please.
It's with this line where Drake circles back to exactly what he's been saying for a very long time. After the control verse, Drake claimed multiple times that Kendrick was doing these kinds of things to get attention.
Like being the talk of Twitter for like 5 days, you know. Over
But you see, Drake is pretty much saying, okay, little bro, I know you don't got no emotion right now. I know you're cold as ice. Your last album didn't do well. You're looking for some attention. If you say please, maybe I'll give it to you. And again, J. Cole said the exact same thing.
If he wasn't dissing, then we wouldn't be discussing her.
They're basically saying it's only you that does these little stunts for attention, and they don't respect it.
Always rapping like you about to get the slaves free. You just acting like an activist is make believe.
Drake claims that Kendrick's whole entire...
I fucking love that line too. Cause I don't believe that shit neither. I think all them black woke, super woke motherfuckers, I think all that shit be bullshit. I think all the motherfuckers just be goddamn fitting that shit trying to get in motherfuckers' pockets. And I always thought that shit whack as fuck people do that. If you feel like that, then live like that. Like, you know what I mean? That's how I always see it. And them motherfuckers who be doing all that goddamn black, talk, they do not live like that. Motherfuckers just be running their goddamn mouth. Sick of it.
Persona is one massive grift, and he's had similar subliminal shots towards Kendrick that I showed you guys in a video 8 months ago. Now, the first line did not sit well with a lot of people, and coming off Kendrick's claims on Euphoria about how Drake is disconnected from the culture, this line seemingly supported Kendrick's narrative. However, I don't feel like Drake is saying anything disrespectful about the conscious hip-hop that Kendrick does. What he's really doing here is saying that Kendrick is fake. When you look at these two lines in conjunction, I honestly don't think Drake is downplaying slavery here at all. What Drake really means by this is that the subject matter of Kendrick's music is all for show and that he's a grifter. And look, it's not my place to tell anyone how they should feel about this line, but I just feel Drake isn't downplaying the message, he's downplaying the messenger. And when those two lines are together, that's his goal, to paint Kendrick as being fake. And J. Cole again shared the exact same sentiments as what Drake had.
Niggas fake, progressive, and woke. I started saying less. I had to stop it. Peeped how they profit off of racial stress.
When you actually take what Drake said and align it with what Cole is saying, these lines are pretty much identical because they both refer to Kendrick as someone that profits off of racial tension, but Cole really drives this home even further in the next two lines.
Some activists got so rich they probably wish we stay oppressed. Studio steppers moving extra on songs fake and rep.
So Cole makes a reference to Kendrick's album Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers and suggests that...
And that's why the fuck I'm so pissed off at Cole, bro. You was chopping that nigga ass up. As soon as he say one thing, you out up. Boy. Lord have mercy.
K-Dot is faking the funk for money, and it's in this first bar where it's even more similar to Drake's line, as they are both saying the exact same thing here. It's fairly apparent that both J. Cole and Drake aren't shooting shots at the subject matter itself, but more at the person who's delivering it as they see it as a grift.
Crazy thing is, both of them niggas mixed though. And assholes will factor that shit in there. That their mothers are white. People gonna factor that shit in there. That's the craziest part about it.
And that's not the last time that J. Cole called Kendrick a fraud.
Your arms might be too short in the box with the God who live his life without the pressures of a constant facade.
So Cole and Drake are saying the exact same thing. This dude is a grifter.
Don't even go back to your hood and plant on money trees.
At Aldi, loyals don't get low prices on USDA choice beef. Everyone does.
As a Navy veteran, Missy Carter Smazel always looks out for Virginia's military families.
Drake makes a direct reference to Kendrick's big hit Money Trees and claims that he doesn't go back to his neighborhood to spread the wealth.
Money Trees is the perfect place for shade, and that's just how I feel.
Now, I think everyone knows that Kendrick has a long history of giving back to Compton and LA in general. I could make a whole other video about this, and maybe sometime I will, but let's just say that he's given back hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even millions. He's definitely amazing with charity, but there's more to it than just that. Planting money trees isn't just about donating to charities for a potential tax break. What I think Drake really means here is he's talking about things like, what businesses has Kendrick created in his community? Based on my research, he owns PG Lang.
Hey, your favorite old head in the building. What did it do, bro? I like that name. That shit tough. Bro said your favorite old head in that building. That's tough.
What did you?
And that's pretty much it. So Drake makes a pretty solid point here. If you want to talk about giving back to people on the West, look no further than what the late, great Nipsey Hussle did. Nip created multiple businesses, truly growing money trees on his home soil. This is one of the best investments that you could do for your community, as it not only provides goods and services for the people, but it creates job opportunities. This man had restaurants, barbershops, full-on education programs for kids of color, affordable housing. He was trying to work with police to help with gang violence.
Speaking on that, where the fuck is Dr. Umar's school at? Where the fuck is Dr. Umar's school at? Why? Nip had a school. Where the fuck Dr. Umar's school at, bro?
Nipsey was planting money trees left, right, and center, and he even planned to roll out some of these programs in other states in America. And then there's another layer of planting money trees. The question needs to be asked, what has Kendrick done for West Coast rappers? What is he doing to put money into the pockets of LA artists? What is he doing to find the next Kendrick Lamar? The answer is not as much as you would expect. Excluding features that he's done with his label mates on TDE, which really shouldn't count, Kendrick's discography isn't exactly the definition of promoting West Coast artists. There's a lot of budding MCs coming out of LA right now, and not only has Kendrick not planted any money trees for them, he's hardly even planted a seed. It's the small things like this that Kendrick Lamar lacks, and Drake makes a very good point. One could even argue that Kendrick's strategy with his pop-out show was a way to address narratives like this one. Again, if we're talking West Coast, look at Nipsey. Look at Nip. Look, when you're a multimillionaire, throwing money at charities is not all that difficult when there's real groundwork that needs to be laid, and Nip had his footprints all over it as he was really doing everything in his power for his community. See, like I said before, a big part of Drake's strategy with this record is to paint Kendrick as a hypocrite. As far as the visuals, at this point, the van has been completely removed from the back of the trailer and is sitting on the forks of the loader. Now, I can't speculate what that man does behind the scenes. Kendrick could be doing a lot. I'm just giving theories to what I think Drake could be talking about, and he's more or less just calling him a grifter. He's saying Kendrick's music.
Oh. Yeah. Huh. Your favorite old head said, I think J. Cole backed out because he might think Kendrick was a whistleblower and things he didn't want Kendrick to bring up, being around Jay-Z and Diddy. Made J. Cole move to the underground ASAP. I like that damn theory, G. I really like it. I don't know. You might be on something. Might be on something, bro.
Music and the message within it, as powerful as it is, it seems to stop there. There's no follow-up. There's no real action. You're just profiting off this. You're not really doing the groundwork. That's what I get from it. And look, without music, I probably wouldn't even be here. So I'm the last guy that's going to downplay the power that music has to influence people and influence change. It's a very powerful tool.
New arrivals are in at Dick's Sporting Goods. Start your season strong with gear for the sideline to the big game.
Say you hate the girls I fuck with, what you really mean?
It's here where Drake begins to rebuttal Kendrick's comments on Euphoria.
He hate the bitches you fuck cause they confuse themselves with real women.
And next we get a pretty crazy flip.
I've been with black and white and everything that's in between.
Drake comes through with the facts as he does.
Bro, I was on your channel today looking at your shorts. I said, that goddamn time been on. Ah! Bro, you been cooking up over there, G. Your ass been cooking up over there with the short game. You killing him. And the shit that you saying is really making people think. Like, I see the engagements and the conversations in the comment box. Like, motherfucker, you drop some thought-provoking shit over there, boy.
Does have a wide range of past women from every ethnicity. It's here where Drake begins to frame his angle as Kendrick really being envious of the life that Drake so freely lives. He begins to portray that Kendrick's issue isn't with the women Drake is involved with, but more about the fact that he can't openly engage in the same behavior himself. Drake points out that the guy who is seemingly very pro-black has wifed up a mixed woman. Now, certain people are against race mixing and they've got their own reasons. It's not something that I subscribe to. To me, love is love, and I believe Kendrick has a similar stance. And the facts are, there simply isn't any supporting lyrics or public statements from Kendrick that's opposed to race mixing. This angle would have been great if Kendrick was out here acting like Dr. Umar, but that's just not the case. In fact, I see it as the opposite. Now this one is good. Drake uses Kendrick's own words against him as he admitted to sleeping with white women himself.
The first time I fucked a white bitch, I was 16 at the Palisades.
He didn't stop there, except this time he admits to cheating on Whitney with a white chick.
Next time I fucked a white bitch was out in Copenhagen. Good kid, Mad City tour. I flourished on the stage.
And for those that want to say that he wasn't with Whitney at this time, that may be possible, but it was just over a year later where again, he hides behind this high school sweetheart fairy tale.
Yeah, like he got burnt or something. Why he saying white bitch? Why he saying the B word like that? Boy, he dragging him white bitch. Motherfucker, them hoes must have burnt his ass.
Kendrick has his longtime girlfriend that he's been with since the beginning, right, Kendrick?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So he's don't worry about that.
Damn, you know all your business. Damn,
Yeah.
That's the one you ride out with. And nobody can hit it.
So in this interview, like many others, he's claiming that he's been with Whitney this whole time, and we're going to get into a lot of those inconsistencies very soon. And of course, when Drake claims that Kendrick hit Vanilla Cream to help out his self-esteem, this also rings true as Kendrick admitted this himself.
Insecurities that I project sleeping with other women. Whitney's hurt, the pure soul I know.
So I think Kendrick means women in general, not just white women, but whether you like this or not or want to admit it, what Drake is saying here is indeed valid.
On some Bobby shit, I wanna know what Whitney need. All that puppy love was over in y'all late teens.
Drake comes in with some
On some Bobby shit, I want to know what Whitney need. Drake an asshole for that one.
shots as Kendrick and Whitney started dating in high school, and young love is usually very strong, hence the reference to puppy love. It's here where Drake also makes a reference to Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown's toxic relationship, drawing parallels between the two. Drake compares both relationships here as being extremely toxic and is likely alluding to the allegations of domestic abuse. However, another layer comes into play when we look at Whitney Houston's massive hit, All the Man That I Need, as it's on this record where Whitney is describing the perfect partner, where the lyrics describe how the man fulfills her emotional needs, provides love, security, and makes her feel complete. So Drake is saying that Whitney is not getting any of these things from Kendrick, right?
Why you never hold your son and tell him say cheese?
At the time of this track, Drake seemed to have assumed that Kendrick was never seen with his new child, but this is in fact false, as I found a video of Kendrick feeding him.
You on track 3? Hey, give me that thing.
We could have left the kids out of this, don't blame me.
Drake brings up how Kendrick made mention to his son Adonis on Euphoria.
That's whole shit. I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that.
And it's because of that where Drake says, okay, now it's fair game.
You a dog and you know you just play sweet.
So this line is actually pretty impactful and 100% true, but it'll make a lot more sense if I explain it in a few more bars.
Your baby mama captions always screaming, save me.
Drake continues to dish out more shots, as when we look at Whitney's captions on Instagram, they don't seem to scream happy relationship by any means. Now, she is a new mother, right? So she could have went through postpartum depression. Those posts don't mean that that's about their relationship. As far as the visuals go, it's at this point where the loader heads towards the crusher with the van on its forks.
You did it dirty all your life, you trying to make peace.
Drake makes the claim that Kendrick has been doing Whitney dirty his whole life. All right, so let's just look at the timeline of all the times that Kendrick did Whitney dirty that we know of. It was back in 2010 where Kendrick spoke about just how poorly he treated her while Whitney stayed at home alone.
And she know they got me. I watch her feelings watch me as they staring with the saddest eyes of loneliness.
Now, you could say this is just him telling a story and it's not about them, but we can at least admit at the very minimum that the parallels are interesting. And he would only go on to break more promises, as at the end of this record, he commits to being faithful to her from that point on.
Have you ever wished you could play a video game your way? Where you can be invincible, unimaginably wealthy, or even teleport? Now you can modify your games easily and safely to have all that and more. Meet WeMod, the #1 app.
Shit, you keep dropping them shorts that you dropping, your ass gonna be a couple double-digit thousand pretty soon.
So to what's important, help my...
Yeah. Dropping the motherfuckers you on. You on it. You on a wave, like you got your own little shit going right now, but it worked. It's working. Obviously the shit working.
Life, I apologize. I promise to stay faithful, focused, and sanctified.
So even from a very early point here, we have Kendrick admitting to wrongdoings on a record, and because he apologizes for things like this and comes off as sincere, fans seemingly give this behavior a pass. But bro, he apologized. He admitted it. Like, that doesn't change anything. That doesn't change the fact that he was sliming her pretty bad. It doesn't. There's also the fact that if we're going to overanalyze and critique every single thing that Drake says and does and use it against him to support whatever narrative there may be, then we have to do it here as well. It's only fair. Unless, of course, you're a deranged, insane superfan. Then you probably wouldn't agree, but most people wouldn't. Continuing on with the timeline, we now need to look at Kendrick's lyrics on Mr. Morale, as it gives context to another incident in 2012.
I met her on the 3rd night of Chicago, North America tour, my eye closed. V5 she was a model, eyes like green penetrate.
Kendrick refers to his North American tour and states that he met a woman on the 3rd night of Chicago. Now, when I looked into this, I found that he's referring to the Pitchfork Music Festival, which took place in Chicago in 2012, where he did indeed perform on the third night and admits to sleeping with this woman. And it was literally just 1 month before that festival where Kendrick claimed that he was still with his long-term girlfriend and that he doesn't do any dirt while on tour.
I know you thought about smashing Angela.
No, he has a girlfriend. You still have a girlfriend, right?
Right.
Yeah, he laughed.
I know the black hippies get a lot of groupies, so I know you on the road doing your dirt.
I know that has to
Does
be
your
tough.
girlfriend understand?
I mean, it's not really dirt. I'm just chilling. I don't be messing with the groupies like that.
Then I found a tweet from Whitney's sister, which was 2 months after the festival, where she said, "He's been with my sister since high school. He's family. So when it comes to Drake's claims of doing Whitney dirty, this acts as another checkmark in the timeline." And this is why Drake said you like to play sweet a few bars earlier. Now we can explain that. Drake cleverly plays off his previous puppy love line.
Bye, nigga. Keep going, keep motherfucking going. I gotta turn the notification bells on so I don't miss nothing and stay in the loop. Hell yeah, keep rocking. Keep rocking and rolling in a free world. Hell yeah, nigga. Where my shit at, bro? It's something real specific. I wanna hear that motherfucker plug. What that said, nigga? Plug. Yeah, keep going, nigga.
The claim that Kendrick is a complete dog when it comes to women, and even 13 years ago, it was on the Buried Alive track where Kendrick is talking all about how he can't wait for his music to pop off so that he can live like Drake and smash groupies.
Red, I'm gonna go and get some head off the strength of my music. I tell a bad bitch, your ass too fat, capitalize that, and your weave look good with the Indian tracks.
So 13 years ago, Kendrick is saying he wants to get some head off the strength of his music, which is exactly what he did, as just 1 year and 8 months later, he would cheat on Whitney and dipped into the vanilla cream at a festival in Copenhagen. Now, the crowd was different in Copenhagen, babe. Like, they really do love me out here. It's crazy. And of course, Kendrick had to frame those lyrics like he had big plans of messing with thick queens with the weave looking on point, but in reality, he was gripping on a blonde ponytail and balls deep in skinny white ass. I mean, Kendrick might just be a milkman, right? A closeted milkman.
And after that, it's over. You wake up and you don't even know what you done.
That shit got a whole new meaning. God damn.
It's the show. I wish they bring it back. But leave some of your favorite moments in the comments, and I guarantee I'll get them.
Wait.
But in reality, he was gripping on a blonde ponytail and balls deep in skinny white ass. I mean, Kendrick might just be a milkman, right? A closeted milkman.
And after that, it's over. You wake up and you don't even know what you done.
I missed the show. I wish they bring it back. But leave some of your favorite moments in the comments, and I guarantee I'll get them.
You had a boo. Yeah. There was rumors that you guys got engaged. Yeah. Is that true? Yeah, definitely. Congratulations,
Appreciate
man.
that.
Yeah, I'm loyal to the soil.
Yeah, I got engaged, and I'm also really loyal too, by the way. Like, that's just, I'm Kendrick.
You've got to hand it to Jen Kiggins. It's her first term, and she's already been caught in a pay-to-play scandal. News reports reveal Kiggins...
Fast forwarding in the timeline, that interview that you just saw was in April 2015, where he claims that he's loyal to the soil. However, it's presumed that during that long break between Damn and Mr. Morel, that even more complicated family matters took place.
Insecurities that I project sleeping with other women. Whitney's hurt, the pure soul I know. I found her in the kitchen.
And Whitney did appear to leave him during this period.
But Whitney's gone. By the time you hear this song, she did all she could.
So that 5-year gap between Damn and Mr. Morel seems to be where the more complicated family matters took place. And Kendrick's claims of being with his high school sweetheart from the jump was seemingly another lie, as we heard from Nitty Scott that she was in a relationship with Kendrick for a full year.
So shout out to Kendrick, that's the homie. Yeah, we had a brief thing.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like a long-term relationship. And the way I heard it was like, yo, she used to fuck with Kendrick. It wasn't like, yo, you were his like.
I'll put it like I'll say like that was my boo. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my thing. I was seeing him and him only for at least a year.
I think we can all agree in here that the high school sweetheart thing has been great for Kendrick, right? Right, good look. So I think we just ignore this. So it's here.
Yo, Ebro ain't shit. Ebro ain't shit. If I was Kendrick, boy, ooh, I'm upset. I'd be hot if I was Kendrick.
Here where we close the timeline on the relationship, and it's understood that Kendrick admitted to some.
You see that shit, Miss B? Hey, nigga T-Rail.
What you do?
But yeah, God. Whoa. Hold up, now, goddamn, what's she on there spilling all the damn beans? And Ebro goddamn setting it up too. Ebro ain't shit. That nigga have to see me.
Some of these things himself, but this line from Drake is about the cycle of doing Whitney dirty, and by all accounts, this is extremely accurate. But bro, he said he's not your savior. Like, guys, I know about Mr. Morale, but that doesn't change the fact that what Drake is saying here is true. He treated her poorly. Being with his high school sweetheart was part of Kendrick's brand, as it made him look like he was different than all the other rappers because he didn't change with the money and fame. It made him look loyal, but this isn't what took place at all. We heard it a million times, right? Oh, Kendrick is really genuine. He's not like the other guys. He's still with his high school girlfriend. He's genuine. It's within this first verse from Drake where he indicates that Kendrick is just truly envious of the life that Drake lives. 13 years ago, Kendrick claimed he essentially wanted Drake's life, and Drake frames it like that didn't change. Drake has always had the freedom to sleep with any woman he wants, and while Kendrick positioned himself for over a decade as an honest and faithful guy to his high school girlfriend, this is simply not the case, as he was really moving more similar to Drake than what people would like to admit. Drake is basically saying, you always wanted to live the life that I lived, you did live the life that I lived, you just hid it from the world behind a sweetheart persona.
I heard that one of them little kids might be day free.
Okay, so first, to better understand this line, we need to look at what was said by both artists on the diss tracks that came before. On Push Ups, Drake started out the track with the Who Kid drop, which was something that none of us understood at the time.
I didn't either.
From there, he threw insults regarding Kendrick's height, said that his last album bricked, that TDE was extorting him, and he had the line about bodyguards with Whitney. Then he dropped Tailor Made. On Tailor Made, he used an AI, Snoop, and Tupac to mock Kendrick, questioned his authenticity, claimed he was powerless to Taylor Swift, and he ended off the...
Man, I'm ready to take a shot. It's the weekend. I'm about to start sipping, man. Who drank it with me, bro? Turn the fuck up one time, you know what I'm saying?
...track by claiming that Kendrick was...
I think I got about like a shot and a half of it. Motherfucker, whole left, man. Let's go.
...in his New York apartment, struggling. And then Kendrick said this on Euphoria.
If you take it there, I'm taking it further. That's something you don't want to do.
Okay, so the question is, take what where, take what further? What did Drake say in those two tracks that would make Kendrick react like this? Well, there's only two answers. Something to do with the Who Kid drop, which would indicate that he picked up on what it meant, or something to do with Whitney. Kendrick is reacting to something here. It's either the bar about Whitney or the bar about the kid. It's one of the two. Objectively speaking, it appears that Kendrick recognizes Drake has something on him, as he's deemed it significant enough to issue a threat.
We ain't gotta get personal. This is a friendly fade. You should keep it that way.
I don't think we should take it there. Let's just keep it friendly. Like, I mean, he says it twice. There's zero doubt in my mind that Kendrick picked up on the fact that Drake had something on him. 100%. Now, as far as this Dave Free line, I'm not sure where Drake heard this rumor, but he claims that one of Kendrick's kids might not be his, and due to the reference to the son just a few bars earlier, it's presumed this is who he's talking about. Now, to me, it's obvious that both children belong to Kendrick, as they clearly possess a number of his facial features. However, Drake only insinuates that this might be the case, which really makes me believe that at the very least, Drake is claiming that Whitney and Dave could have been messing around. I'd be pretty much shocked if the kids weren't Kendrick's. Like, to me, we don't need a DNA test here. However, there's no solid evidence that Whitney and Dave were ever involved, and it seems unlikely given how close Kendrick is with Dave. They continue to collaborate even on significant ventures like partnering for PG Lang. So because this was supposed to be like the knockout punch for Drake, like he put a lot of stock in this info, I don't think he just made this up out of thin air. I think someone told him this and he bought it. He believed it. Now, for me personally, I don't feel like the Not Like Us video proves that Kendrick and Whitney are still together. This is just my take, but I believe they separated a while ago, and the Mr. Morale album was a form of therapy for them, and I do believe they are now co-parenting. That's just my opinion, guys. I do think Drake got this part right, but we'll see in time. At the end of the day, Kendrick is the father of her children. She knew him since high school, and Drake did drag her into this beef, so I can't see why she wouldn't help Kendrick out with the video.
Fabricating stories on the family front because you heard Mr. Morale.
And I truly believe that lines like this one acted as a safety net, as it was Kendrick's way of trying to get ahead of these things before they came out. Me personally, I believe that there just might be a layer of truth mixed in there somewhere.
Oh, shit, we got 12 in here. Y'all two hit the like button for me.
that Kendrick recognized he needed to step on. As far as Whitney sleeping with another man besides Kendrick, I saw people acting as if this was impossible, but I do feel like the psychological damage that Kendrick did to her throughout his own infidelity would cause many women to seek that affection from someone else. I mean, come on now, guys. Like, if you treat a woman like that for as long as he did, do you really think it's a 0% possibility that she might just eventually veer off with someone else? So, speaking on the relationship as a whole, I believe these kids are Kendrick's, but I'm also not going to rule out that there just might be a layer of truth in here somewhere that Kendrick did a very good job of stepping on. When you really look at the information and the situation at a whole, what I just said is not a crazy take to have. I think Kendrick's strategy of painting Drake as a liar and a manipulator and constantly driving that home, I think all that was done with a great deal of intent, and it was very effective, right?
$5 drinks, $5 bites, 5 free games so you can play all night.
Devotion by Dolce & Gabbana, the new Eau de Parfum Intense.
Cause if your GM is your BM secret BD, then this is all making plenty fucking sense to me.
Drake claims that if Kendrick's general manager, Dave Free, is the real father of his child, then everything is starting to add up. The long wait in between Damn and Mr. Morale, the subject matter of Mr. Morale, the turmoil between Whitney and Kendrick, all now seems to add up for Drake.
Let that shorty breathe, shake that ass, bitch. Hands on your knees, shake that ass for Drake, now shake that ass for free.
So it's here where Drake flips one of Kendrick's funniest lines from Euphoria.
When I see you stand by 60 red, I believe you see 2 bad bitches. I believe you don't like women. It's real competition. You might bypass with them.
When I heard these shots from Kendrick, I wondered how Drake would go about flipping this, and he does a pretty good job by playing off his previous track, Rich Baby Daddy, with Sexy Red.
Bend that ass over, let that coochie breathe.
Drake starts off the line by saying, "Let that shorty breathe," possibly alluding to Kendrick being controlling in the relationship. It is a decent little flip as he ties it into the Dave Free and Whitney allegations, and this really could have been a crowd-pleasing moment had Kendrick not stepped on this track so quickly. This was supposed to be Drake live, putting the mic out, and everyone singing this part back. At this point in the video itself, the van has now been placed inside the crusher, and something else I wanted to add about this video is the fact that it's very low budget. It almost looks like it was filmed with cell phones, and when we think of how Kendrick approaches his music videos, they're extremely cinematic, and I think Drake could be doing this to kind of mock him. I'm not even saying that's a thing, that's just something that I noticed.
Yeah, we're not that kind of free, I'm talking about my nigga Dave.
Drake proceeds to mock Kendrick by explaining the previous line, basically saying that Whitney doesn't need to shake ass for nothing, meaning she doesn't need to do it for free, she needs to shake it for Dave Free.
Yo man, a Lil K, we call that shit a mini Drake.
Drake makes a reference to a mini Draco gun, which is a smaller version of a regular Draco. It's here where he positions Kendrick as someone that he doesn't even see as a man, but more of a little kid. There's also the fact that the Draco was inspired by the AK-47, so really this little K line has 3 meanings, being 1, Lil Kendrick, 2, Lil Kid, and 3, it's a direct reference to the Draco being inspired by the AK-47 itself. This is both a clever way of pointing out Kendrick's short stature and also a way of calling him Little Bro. There's also the fact that by Drake labeling Kendrick as a mini Drake, he's literally saying that Kendrick is a smaller extension of himself and alluding to the fact that he's nowhere near to being on Drake's level. And he's also rebuttaling 2 of Kendrick's gun bars, one being Euphoria.
The very first time I shot me a Drake, the homie had told me to aim it this way.
And also to Like That record.
There's a K with all these 9s, he gon' see Pet Cemetery, nigga.
So not only is this a good punchline, but he also has a couple rebuttals in there, which is something that we give points for in battle rap. This is a thing.
He always said I overlooked him, I was staring straight.
This line acts as a double entendre where 1, Drake alludes to Kendrick's height, he literally overlooks him because he's taller, and 2, Drake is only focused on people he considers to be on his level, he looks straight ahead, meaning he only acknowledges artists who are the same caliber as himself. Drake doesn't view Kendrick as being on his level. So Drake claims that the bars are going right over Kendrick's head, which is a phrase that we often use in hip-hop when the bars are so complex that the audience doesn't catch it. Secondly, it's obviously another short joke where the bars are literally going over Kendrick's head due to his short size. So again, another jab at Kendrick for his short stature, and while I felt like the short jokes were already played out in push-ups, I got to thinking, maybe Drake knows that Kendrick is insecure about this. Even when Drake dropped that track, he shared a story promoting it where he said, "Out on all platforms, like the shoes you need," and there are many instances of Kendrick wearing footwear where he seems to be trying to gain a couple inches. I mean, maybe it is a sore spot for Kendrick.
I know you like to keep it short, so let me paraphrase.
Again, another short joke, and even if this does get under Kendrick's skin a little bit, at this point, Drake is wasting valuable real estate here, and it's time to move on.
Knew it was smoke when Abel hit us with the serenade. Niggas say, almost started reaching for my waves.
Drake clowns The Weeknd as he was one of the artists that took shots at Drake recently and has remained a target. It's here where he sarcastically pretends to be afraid of The Weeknd, suggesting that he's reaching for his waist to get a pistol. He's basically saying like, oh no, don't get the big bad Weeknd after me. It's at this point in the music video where the van gets crushed and Drake syncs this with the hook of the track. Now, the act of crushing this van in particular is Drake's way of saying, I helped bring you into this thing and now I'm taking you out of it. Good Kid Mad City is among one of the best hip-hop albums of all time. It certainly makes my list, and this is a pretty slick chess move from Drake. As dramatic as it is, I think the crushing the van shit is dope. Like, it's a good visual. It feeds into what Drake's trying to do on his record. Something else you'll notice about the hook is that this time, Drake cuts the track off before he says PG and inserts 3 gunshots instead.
What do you think? It's good. It's not bad.
Damn it. Ass. I ain't skipped this.
I'm really trying to keep it.
So this whole time, he did want to keep this just to Kendrick, but now he's firing on everyone.
Stop playing around and take this shit seriously. Niggas is a joke, I take it seriously.
And now we get to part 2, and this is really where Drake really starts to rap. Now, as far as the visuals go for the second portion of the video, Drake showcases a Mercedes hearse from multiple angles. He shows off the exterior a few times and then focuses on the inside of the vehicle itself. You'll notice that the location of where the casket is usually secured is empty, and this is a visual that Drake focuses on. I believe the reason for an empty hearse is to symbolize that the Good Kid Mad City van acted as the coffin for Kendrick. When the van is crushed, Kendrick is buried, and the empty hearse demonstrates that the job has been done. That is my best interpretation of it. However, another layer comes into play when we look into the make and model of this hearse in particular. This took me a lot of digging, and I looked at more hearses than I would like to admit, but you can see that the Maybach model has the exact same interior. All the other hearses I looked at do not look like this one. This is the Maybach hearse. Drake's reason for using a Maybach hearse is impactful because when Kendrick first met Drake, this was the vehicle that he used to pick him up.
A white waitress on standby when we need a black Maybach 40 pulled up, Jeep, no doors.
So I feel like Drake is basically saying, I used a Maybach to pick you up. That was the start of our relationship and me helping you. I helped get you to Good Kid Mad City. I helped you with Good Kid Mad City. I'm crushing the van. I'm burying you. This is your funeral. And I did this with a Mercedes Maybach hearse. So the vehicle I brought you in with is the vehicle I just took you out with, pretty much. It's here where Drake puts on a clinic, really sliding on this beat.
Drake shooters doing TikToks, nigga, really shooting your gang. Ass peace, brother, y'all are getting shit shot, nigga.
Picking up from where he left off, Drake starts out the verse with some more bars for The Weeknd and his crew. First, he makes a reference to The Weeknd's claims on a recent track called All to Myself. It's on this track where The Weeknd alludes to how one of Drake's OVO goons, Baka Not Nice, is posting on TikTok.
Hello. Good morning, bitch. How you doing today?
Drake claims that one of his former colleagues, P. Rain, is the brother of The Weeknd's best shooter, Gilla. Drake is basically saying, like, I'm in good with your number one goon. He's friends of OVO. Like, you're not going to do shit to me.
Can't listen to this thing talking falsetto, save it for a hip hop nigga.
So it's here where Drake dishes out a triple entendre. First off, Drake continues to respond to the All to Myself track by telling The Weeknd that he doesn't want to hear any threats coming from a singing artist. While Drake also sings, The Weeknd is primarily an R&B and pop artist. Secondly, Drake also references Stick Talk, a track by Future, to imply that if The Weeknd's going to collaborate with Future, he should leave this kind of talk to him. Last but not least, the line has a far deeper meaning as The Weeknd has a goon that goes by the name of Sticks. And Sticks is someone that's been mentioned by The Weeknd before. So I mean, he's clearly labeling Sticks as one of his shooters, right? So even coming back to the previous line about Gilla being the only real shooter in The Weeknd's crew, Drake is basically calling this Sticks guy a joke, like he's not the guy that The Weeknd thinks he is. So that right there is a triple entendre and a really good one. Drake points out how The Weeknd is hardly ever in Toronto, and when he does visit, it's just like a typical tourist, stopping for a brief moment and leaving again. He also makes reference to a song by Selena Gomez, which is called Souvenir, and this was someone that The Weeknd was in a relationship with, and the Souvenir record itself is actually written about The Weeknd. So I hope at this point in the video, you could at least say that for the people that claim that Drake can't be layered, like he definitely can be layered, and he has been layered for a very long time. Now, it's hard to pinpoint exactly who Drake might be referencing, but I personally believe he's hinting at a woman named Just Tokyo. I first broke this connection in my push-ups breakdown, noting that she's been seen with both Drake and Future. Another potential hint that I noticed is Drake's use of the word lip lock, which Future also used in his popular track, Thought It Was a Drought.
I just had some bitches and I made them lip lock.
For me, it was a clue because, you know, this was a big record for Future, and lip lock is also pretty specific.
Defund the police radicals threaten our communities. They back Missy Carter Smossel. Now she's beholden to them.
So I believe that it's in this line where Drake seems to let Future know that he didn't even sleep with this woman, all he did was kiss her. So I believe this is also another triple, as first, he's saying that when it comes to beef, he hasn't even begun to retaliate or cook yet. Secondly, he's basically saying that beef gets him excited, and when it's time for war, he gets active. And lastly, following the previous line about kissing, he's implying that in his conflicts, he's notorious for sleeping with his rivals' women, and in this case, he's saying that he hasn't even stooped to that level yet, hence he hasn't let his dick drop. And I know people think Drake is lame for smashing other people's girls for revenge, but if you really don't like someone, that's probably the best way you could get back at them. Like, a broken nose is going to heal, but a broken heart,
that's it.
That shit takes a lot longer. You're hitting them where it hurts. So it's here where Drake really starts to turn up with his use of the N-word, truly combating Ross's claims of Drake being a white boy.
White boy, BBL Drizzy, I got a question.
Drake directly shoots down Ross's claims of him having a nose job. And a whole bunch of celebrity plastic surgeons, they also debunked this.
Well, I'm not really seeing anything obvious here, so I don't think that Drake is nose job Drizzy.
So it's in these words heard Rick drop where we get another double entendre where one, Ross dropped a diss track towards Drake called Champagne Moments, and two, Rick Ross has had several medical incidents such as seizures and rumored heart attacks where he did indeed drop. So to me, this could also be a clever play on Ross's health issues. Lastly, Drake alludes to Rick Ross's use of Ozempic to help with weight loss and insinuates that he's jealous of Drake's success, which is honestly even more clever wordplay, linking to Drake's previous lines about getting active. And like I said, he really starts to rap here because up next, we get multiple double entendres.
Put a nigga in the bars, let a nigga rock, kinda like your old job, nigga.
In the first couple words, Drake says, put a dude in the bars, and this has two meanings where one, he's physically rapping about Rick Ross and spitting bars about him, and two, he refers to Ross's former career as a correctional officer where he was literally responsible for surveilling other men behind bars. So that's one double. Next, Drake says, let a dude rot, which also has multiple meanings where one, it's a common phrase for inmates that do long bids that they rot in prison. Two, Drake is claiming that Ross's career will now rot, meaning he's about to fall off without Drake's help. And three, coming off the line about jail bars, he's referring to the type of steel used for the bars, which is called wrought iron. I gotta give a thanks to my days in construction for helping me with that last one, but that line is crazy. It is. Drake continues to fire at Rick Ross here as they were clowning each other over real estate, and in this case, Drake seems to be referring to Ross's mansion in Georgia, essentially saying that it's in the middle of nowhere. Again, Drake continues to take shots at Ross by claiming that he's so out the way that women need to drive 2 hours just to get to him, and he's also insinuating that Ross has to pay in order to get women at all. Lastly, he frames it like Ross only pays for blowjobs, potentially hinting that he's too fat to even have sex. Which tells me that Drake has probably been talking with some of the women that's connected to Ross. On social media, Ross seemed to claim that he had more money than Drake, and in response, Drake is essentially saying that Ross must be high to believe this, noting that his own record deal alone was worth $400 million. And he's saying that now that's low. Who's next on the list? Push one of my so-called niggas need a shelf in a clip. So it's here where Drake leans into the 20v1 narrative, highlighting that everyone he's currently beefing with were once his friends, people he helped in various ways. And he's framing it like he's thinking, like which one of these bums am I gonna fire on next?
Always
Ooh, fun.
Yikes. The leaky refrigerator coil card. Is that bad?
And I saw that many people were saying that Drake should have just focused his diss solely on Kendrick Lamar instead of all these other artists, and I have to agree with this. It seems to me that Drake noticed the success of the Push-Ups track and how the 20v1 narrative really resonated with a lot of listeners, so he decided to continue with this approach. Remember, in the beginning, people were like, holy shit, Drake is taking on everyone by himself. Like, he's not backing down.
Good kid, man, city van, will pot the latch, make the door slide. Tears running down my cheek, laughing at you, pussy down, it's a war cry.
Drake starts flexing, claiming ownership of Kendrick's family van. He opens the latch and lines up all his enemies for a metaphorical drive-by. He claims that taking out his ops will be so satisfying that he'll laugh until tears run down his face.
Weekend music getting played in all the spots where boys got a little more pride.
Drake then turns his attention to The Weeknd and insinuates that his music is being played in places of the LGBT community.
That's why all your friends dipping to Atlanta paying just to find a tour guide.
So again, following with the theme here, Atlanta is ranked as one of the gayest cities in America, and Drake claims that the XO crew are frequent flyers.
Able run your fucking bread, need to buy some more chains for some more guys. Let me find another street nigga I can take to the game courtside.
It's here where Drake is speaking from the perspective of The Weeknd's manager Cash, framing the situation like Cash is asking The Weeknd for more money so that he can spend it on lavish items for other men. I found many examples of him doing this where he's bought chains for people like Travis Scott, Playboi Carti, Lil Wayne, Ken Carson, Gunna, Post Malone, Future, Metro, Young Thug, French Montana, and while I couldn't find any examples of him courtside with other rappers, I'm sure Drake also said this for a reason. He's pretty much doubling down on what he said on Push-Ups.
Cash flowing, able bread out here tricking. Shit we do for bitches, he doing for niggas.
I think Push-Ups is underrated. Like, I listen to that record still, all the time.
Let me get a use Ferrari for a rapper, take the nigga on a horse ride.
Drake continues to rap from Cash's perspective, explaining to The Weeknd that he needs money to purchase sports cars for other men. He specifically mentions a Ferrari, famous for its horse logo, implying that Cash is giving other rappers a horse ride. It is a pretty clever line, as Ferraris are typically two-seater cars, while horse rides are often seen as a romantic activity for couples. And I couldn't find any examples of him buying cars for other rappers, but Drake probably knows something that we don't.
Anything to take a spotlight off the fact the boss is a drugged out little punk sissy from the north side.
This line is a direct diss aimed at The Weeknd, who owns the XO record label, positioning him as the boss. Drake accuses Cash and The Weeknd's crew of doing everything possible to conceal the fact that The Weeknd is a closeted drug user and homosexual. Drake refers to him as a punk, which is jail slang for being gay, and reinforces this with the term sissy, another word associated with
Not a punk. Oh, God. Not a punk.
homosexuality. Finally, he points out that The Weeknd is from the North Side, referencing Toronto's location in North America. When it comes to XO, Cash and Sal are from the Middle East somewhere, so he's making it clear he's talking about The Weeknd, the boss, the guy from the North Side.
Rock him talking shit again. Gas cause you hit my being first, nigga. Do the math while I was hitting it.
It's here where Drake fires at ASAP Rocky, whose real name is Rakim, as Rocky dissed Drake on Future's track Show of Hands, where he flexed on Drake for sleeping with his baby mama, Sophie.
I smashed before you birth, son. Flacco hit it first, son.
I don't know why ASAP thought this was a good angle, because he really walked into this one. Drake really flips this narrative on its head, as he has a long history of dating Rocky's wife, Rihanna. Rocky is then asked to do the math to determine who Drake was sleeping with at that time, and while we do know that Rocky dated Sophie at one point, there are no concrete dates for us to base this on, but it's obvious Drake was sleeping with Rihanna at this time. So again, like, Rocky set Drake up for a slam dunk rebuttal here. And I honestly feel like Drake is dropping another clue here with the word math, as this is a subject that Rihanna is academically gifted in, even choosing to teach it in places like Africa.
Rihanna spent time with students at a local school. She helped them with math.
He's pretty much saying, look, Rocky, if you can't figure out the math, bro, just go see the tutor. She'll fill you in. Something else I noticed is that Drake calls Rocky, Metro Boomin, and The Weeknd by their first names, and I see this as more of a slight to Rocky, where he's more or less saying, none of you guys are rappers to me.
I ain't even know you rap still, cause they only talking about your fit again.
Drake trolls ASAP Rocky for focusing more on the fashion industry than releasing music. This could also be in reference to how over the last few years, Rocky has publicized far more for his fashion than for his music. It was a while back that Joe Budden said the exact same thing.
When the fuck was niggas talking about ASAP Rocky?
So Drake echoes the same sentiment here, claiming that nobody talks about Rocky's music. All you ever hear about is the fashion.
Probably gotta have a kid again. before you think of dropping any shit again.
Furthermore, Rocky hasn't dropped an album since 2018, and in the span, he had 2 children, one in 2022 and another in 2023. He's basically saying that there's a better chance of ASAP having another kid than putting out music that anyone cares about.
Even when you do drop, they gon' say you should've modeled cause it's mid again.
Drake claims that when ASAP Rocky does drop an album, it's gonna be lackluster, and it's here where he takes shots at Rocky's 2018 album Testing. While the album did have mixed reviews, it was his lowest selling album, and Drake states that the next album won't be any different, and that the people will say that he should have just modeled.
Smoking 50 body should've put you on the first one trying to get it in.
Drake continues firing on Rocky, claiming that he's smoking Fenty, which is short for the drug fentanyl, but also the name of Rihanna's beauty line. It's here where Drake also mentions Rocky's claims on Future and Metro's Show of Hands, where Rocky basically said,
"Could you describe him for me?"
A white man, dark hair.
The voice you're about to hear is the man that we believe.
If you guys were dissing Drake, you should have called me earlier. You know I'm down.
Call up Pluto, Metro should've put me on the first one.
Metro and Future had 2 albums back-to-back dissing Drake, but Rocky was only on the second one. So he's basically saying, you should have just called me the first time. I would have been down.
Ask Fring if this a good idea the next time you could've done a bit again.
Drake brings up his nickname for Rihanna, Fring, which is related to the TV show Breaking Bad, as she was a fan of the show, and Gustavo Fring was her favorite character. By bringing up the nickname too, that's pretty petty because he's reminding ASAP, I got an intimate past with your wife, right?
She'll even tell you leave the boy alone before you get your head split again.
He then mentions that even Rihanna herself will tell Rocky to leave Drake alone before he gets his head split again. He's pretty much saying Rihanna even knows that Drake is a way better rapper. She's gonna tell Rocky, look, bro, like you don't want to go at Drake anymore. He just mopped you on Family Matters. You should probably leave him alone. However, the line about getting his head split has some very clever wordplay, as not only did Rocky suffer a head injury, but on Breaking Bad, the character Fring had an accident where he lost half of his face. It really is high-level writing, and maybe he should have stuck to Kendrick, but you cannot deny that he really is cooking these guys.
Pluto shit made me sick to my stomach, we ain't never really been through it.
Now, Drake seems to take it light on Future in this beef, more or less saying that they don't really have any major issues.
Lil Wayne, you're fucking lame, so I know he had to be an influence.
Drake name drops Metro Boomin and claims that he's the likely cause of the issues between Drake and Future.
These niggas had a plan and they finally found a way to rope it into it. 2 separate albums, dissing, I just did a Kim to it, niggas skimmed through it.
Drake claims that he didn't pay much attention to the 2 albums that Metro and Future released that were filled with disses aimed at him, describing them as mediocre and only skimming through it. He then makes a clever wordplay involving Kim Kardashian, who owns the clothing brand Skims, referencing how she promoted Kanye's Donda album with the sound muted. Fans quickly caught on to the subtle jab, likely directed at Kanye, who had appeared on a remix of the Like That record,
Me and Savage had
where he lost half of his face. It really is high-level writing, and maybe he should have stuck to Kendrick, but you cannot deny that he really is cooking these guys.
Pluto shit made me sick to my stomach, we ain't never really been through it.
Now, Drake seems to take it light on Future in this beef, more or less saying that they don't really have any major issues.
Lil Wayne, you're fucking lame, so I know he had to be an influence.
Drake name drops Metro Boomin and claims that he's the likely cause of the issues between Drake and Future.
These niggas had a plan and they finally found a way to rope it into it. 2 separate albums, dissing, I just did a Kim to it, niggas skimmed through it.
Drake claims that he didn't pay much attention to the 2 albums that Metro and Future released that were filled with disses aimed at him, describing them as mediocre and only skimming through it. He then makes a clever wordplay involving Kim Kardashian, who owns the clothing brand Skims, referencing how she promoted Kanye's Donda album with the sound muted. Fans quickly caught on to the subtle jab, likely directed at Kanye, who had appeared on a remix of the Like That record.
Me and Savage had a whole dripping wet, the shows almost had to swim to it.
Coming off the last line about Kim Kardashian, Drake appears to mention her again here, referencing a video that surfaced of his It's a Blur tour, where Kim looks very happy to see him, and Drake seemingly ignores her. By Drake claiming that him and Savage had all the hoes dripping wet at their shows, he could be referencing Kim's behavior in this very moment. I'm pretty sure he slept with her before, but he could have piped her down that night. Who knows?
Hey, that shit is only hitting hard when Baby Keem put his pen to it.
So a lot of people seem to take this line as if Drake was saying that Baby Keem was physically writing for Kendrick, but I don't think that's what he means. If you look at Kendrick's album, Mr. Morale, Baby Keem is listed as a writer on N95, Die Hard, and Savior, and these were some of the standout tracks. And some of that credit, I think, was just for ad-libs. Then we got tracks like Range Brothers and Family Ties, which were truly in heavy rotation, and more in line with something that Drake would probably consider to be hit-worthy music. I've argued that Kendrick's verse on the Like That record was some of the best rapping that we got in the entire beef. And that record was #1, and so was Not Like Us.
Ross calling me the white boy, and the shit kinda got a ring to it. Cause all these rappers waving white flags while the whole fucking club sing to it.
Rick Ross had referred to Drake as a white boy on countless occasions, and it's here where Drake seems to be predicting the outcome of the war, assuming that after Family Matters, all of his enemies would bow out of the race. You know, I do like the line, but again, like, this just proves that Family Matters was the one. This was the one that people were supposed to be singing in the club. Yeah. This was supposed to embarrass everyone.
Murder scene on your main night, then come to vigil with the candlelight.
It's here where Drake has a religious reference, which is a good indication that this is directed at Kendrick. He claims that Family Matters will be the death of Kendrick, and that he's so petty, he'll show up to the candlelight vigil. Drake uses a play on words here to reference Rick Ross's former job as a CO. He claims that he's got bodies dropping left, right, and center, all while Ross reads him his Miranda rights. You know, when the police tell you, you got the right to remain silent, get a lawyer, yada yada. He's claiming that Rick Ross is doing that part.
I'm going on vacation, I hope next time y'all plan it right.
Drake claims that now that he's addressed all the other rappers who have been dissing him, he's now finally ready to take a break. Now, obviously, as it stands right now, some of these lines did not age very well, but he definitely cooked A$AP Rocky, The Weeknd, and his crew, and Rick Ross in this verse. Drake really is rapping on that verse. He's locked in, he's sliding on the beat, real smooth. Like, I don't know how anyone could really deny that he really is rapping in this verse.
Yeah, Kendrick dropping Not Like Us right after that. Watched him, but shit, he got on them other niggas. I'm a full agreement with that. Rick Ross, rest of them niggas got, hell yeah.
It's at this point where we get to the third beat of the track and the visuals change to a shot of the new Ho King restaurant, which was mentioned by Kendrick in Euphoria. It's wild how much business this place got just because Kendrick mentioned it. Next, we see a Toronto-based rapper that we haven't seen with Drake too often on camera, and he goes by the name of TV Gucci. A friend of mine, Ricky from the We Love Hip Hop Network, recently interviewed this guy, and here's all that he would say.
Basically, I don't involve myself in politics. So the question you're asking, G, is like a politic question. You know what I mean? Like, I can say something positive or negative, and it can be somebody will take it into their own way. So me personally, G, I come from the streets, man. We don't talk about beef, fam.
In the world of e-commerce, it's always crunch time, especially for your cash flow. You need more inventory for a busy season. You need a PPC campaign to push your listing to page 1.
Next, they begin to walk into the restaurant, and on the left-hand side, a quick shot of what looks like Jeremiah, Drake's right-hand man next to Chubbs. The scene then shows TV Gucci approaching both Drake and Chubbs, who are seated inside the restaurant having a conversation around some food. Interestingly enough, after this restaurant was mentioned by Kendrick on Euphoria, they created a Kendrick Lamar special, and it appears that Drake has ordered that meal as all the items appear on the table, with the exception of the beef and broccoli.
I heard there's a Kendrick Lamar special. Is that true? No problem. All right, I'm excited, man.
Was the new Ho King House special fried rice. Order this was this deep fried shrimp dish. Order this, their spicy chicken wings. But this beef broccoli definitely came hot off the wok.
Now, I can only speculate, but I feel that this may have been intentional, as the camera clearly pans over the food, and the absence of the beef portion of the meal could indicate that it's here where the beef ends. A number of empty plates are shown, meaning that they did eat something, whereas the other dishes look untouched. It really reminded me of what Drake said to Meek. He served me up a cheesesteak, I gave him back a clean plate. Like, there's clean plates on the table, the beef is done.
Kendrick just opened his mouth. Someone go hand him a Grammy right now.
Drake then comes with a line that made a lot of people laugh. Kendrick has definitely had massive success when it comes to the Grammys, but I believe this line is deeper than how most people see it. Who could forget the 2014 Grammy Awards when Macklemore won Best Rap Album over Kendrick? This result caused an absolute uproar and created a big headache for the Grammys, and it seems like ever since this mistake happened, the Grammys are quick to award Kendrick every single time he's mentioned. The Grammys have been accused of racial bias for many years now, and Drake could be saying that Kendrick getting a Grammy is pretty much like a participation award. He doesn't deserve it, but they're afraid of not giving it to him. I could see an argument for what Drake is saying. Like, I went through all the Grammys that he's won. Most of them to me were deserved. Many are subjective, and then there are some where I felt like he shouldn't have won.
Where's your uncle at? Cause I wanna talk to the man in the house.
Drake appears to make reference to Kendrick's track Auntie Diaries from Mr. Morale, as it's on this track where he reveals that his aunt transitioned to be his uncle. It's here where Drake dishes out a petty line, insinuating that Kendrick's transitioned uncle is more of a man than him. Look, I got no smoke with the trans community, but that's funny. As far as the visuals, it's during the bar about the uncle where Drake looks into the camera with a big smile. You'll also notice that Drake is wearing the same FUBU shirt as well as the G-Unit chain that was shown at the beginning of the track.
West Coast niggas do phase, right? Come get this ass whooping, I'm handing them out.
Drake doesn't seem to view Kendrick as being a tough guy at all. Keep in mind, Drake definitely does tower over Kendrick, and he seems entirely open to shooting the fade, meaning to fight in West Coast slang.
You wanna take over for real? Then come get his legacy out of my house.
So in Euphoria, Kendrick mentioned how he was more than happy to defend Pharrell, and when Drake says to come get his legacy out of his house, he really isn't joking here. Drake purchased a bunch of Pharrell's custom jewelry from an auction, and these are literally some of the most iconic pieces of jewelry in the history of the music business. If you don't believe me, this is how the auction site described the chains. One of the most historic pieces of contemporary jewelry that represents an incomparable artist at an incomparable time with incomparable creativity. And at one point, Drake read those exact same words, and he bought it all. So these pieces are absolutely iconic in the hip-hop world, and Drake first showcased them in his Jumbotron music video. This is likely how Pharrell discovered that it was Drake who purchased these items.
It's like a different era. It's the end of that era for me.
Look at this. Astronaut.
This is the symbol for BBC.
And this whole thing, you know, all this beautiful items, this piece of jewelry still looks like brand new. This is museum pieces. This is museum jewelry. This should really be in a museum.
I mean, the man who made the jewelry himself, Jacob the jeweler, is saying exactly what Drake is saying. This is literally Pharrell's legacy. It's definitely petty and maybe even a bit childish, but if I had the money and it was my ops, I'd probably do the same thing. Like, fuck that guy, dude. This is mine now. And I saw that a lot of people were quick to accuse Drake of lying about melting the chains.
I melt down the chains that I bought from your boss, give a fuck about all of that heritage shit.
When he says this, he's just messing with him, right? Like, making him think, like, do you really think he would do that? Melt down the chains? Drake's like, oh, that old junk? Yeah, I melted that down, man. That's just junk. It's in these lines where Drake is really taunting Pusha T, as Pharrell was instrumental in his very existence to the music business. It's for this reason that I personally believe that the true reason for Drake purchasing these pieces was really to antagonize Pusha.
Man, I love you, bro, for everything, always. You brought me in this game. You taught me everything.
It's in this clip where Pusha clearly states that Pharrell is the reason why he even has a career, and literally 4 months later, Drake purchased all the items from the auction. Pharrell is even the person that gave Pusha T his name.
Man,
like
you know
that
what? Pharrell actually named me Pusha.
I like that Petty LaBelle. I love that. Yeah, that shit hard. That shit hard. That one got a ring to it.
Yeah.
So to me, I think this has more to do with why Drake bought these chains in the first place.
That one got a
Not
ring
really to get at Pharrell, but more probably to get at Pusha. As far as the visuals go, we now see a man wearing Pharrell's most iconic pieces, and a common misconception here was that the man was the owner of New Ho King, but he's actually a long-standing member of OVO. He goes by the name of OVO Juju, and it's believed that he is Drake's road manager. I'm not 100% sure what this guy does, but he's been around for a long time. He is part of OVO. What's extremely interesting about this, and something that nobody's seen to notice, is that Juju is wearing a lot more jewelry than what was featured in the Jumbotron video. That's because it's here where Drake exposes that he bought even more items, but this time they don't belong to Pharrell. These items are actually Nigo's, who created the Ice Cream and Billionaire Boys companies with Pharrell. It was 1 year after Pharrell's auction that Nigo also had an auction for a bunch of his items.
You are the future. Pursue tech careers with the DeVry Scholars Program. Advance your ambition.
That's actually fire.
And it's in the Family Matters video where Drake reveals that he bought even more iconic pieces. As you can see, Drake purchased Nigo's ice cream logo chain, the running dog chain, and the Billionaire Boys Club astronaut head. These are literally the characters that represent Pharrell and Nigo's companies, and it's in this video where he reveals, I bought this shit too. Finally, one more thing worth mentioning is that you'll see that both Drake and Juju flex the chains by holding it up by their thumbs, which is exactly how Pharrell showcased these chains many times before. So as obscure as some of these details might be, a lot of people do look past this shit, and that's what I tend to focus on in my videos. Like these things.
That's why. What's the dirt to man? That's why I watch these videos. Shit like that.
Still do have meaning. It's here where Drake accuses Kendrick of hitting up Tupac's estate to sue him for the tailor-made freestyle, and I don't believe this for 1 second. Tupac's estate actually mentioned Kendrick as being a very respected friend, and a lot of people were upset with Drake when he did this Tupac gimmick.
You call the Tupac estate and beg them to sue me and get that shit down.
Now, Kendrick being a respected friend means maybe they would sue him if he asked, but I just don't buy it. As far as the visuals, we do see a photo of Drake and his son Adonis, which depicts a loving relationship between the two, hence the title of the track, Family Matters. And by all accounts, and I don't think we have any reason to really believe otherwise, Drake does seem to be a great dad to his kid. Next in the video, we see Tupac's ring, which Drake did purchase for $1 million, along with the mysterious letter that is written in Spanish. As you can see, the letter clearly has the infamous signature of Pablo Escobar, and although some of the writing is blocked out, I was able to find this exact letter online when it was available for purchase. It appears that Drake was able to obtain a very rare artifact here, as this lot in particular was for a book that Escobar himself published while in prison. It's estimated that around 10 of these books are in existence, and just to show you guys that I found the correct item, you can see they're a mirror image of one another. A lot of fans speculated about the Spanish writing as some of it's blocked out, but it was translated on the auction website as saying, "With much appreciation for a great friend, very serious, very honest, and very brave, signed Pablo Escobar with his fingerprint." What's interesting about this book itself is it really showcases just how powerful Pablo was, as it's within these pages where he mocks law enforcement and political leaders. So even when he was in jail, he was so powerful that they couldn't stop him from publishing a book that mocked the police and, mocked politicians. He did whatever he wanted. Most of the copies of this book were burned when Escobar escaped from prison, so it is pretty amazing that Drake got his hands on one of these. Now, when it comes to the symbolism of what this could mean in the Family Matters video, I can only guess at this, but Escobar lived by a specific set of family values. He went to great lengths to ensure that his family was protected and that they were able to live a life of luxury. However, at the same time, he was extremely powerful and ruthless when it came to how he handled his business and his enemies. Similar to Drake, many of Escobar's allies and friends would eventually turn against him. So this really could be a powerful statement from Drake on a track titled Family Matters, given the theme of the record, and then the fact
Bitch ass niggas, man. Quick to turn on a motherfucker, boy.
that there are some parallels in their situations.
I'm losing perspective on beef. Boy, when the same beat and I kill you for fun.
Drake suggests that the beef is becoming less significant to him and almost trivial. On the Push-Ups track, Drake sampled Biggie's iconic record, What's Beef, where Biggie defines beef as more than just a disagreement, it's a life-threatening conflict that extends beyond music into the real world. Drake seems to share Biggie's perspective, but in this situation, he doesn't view Kendrick as a street dude or see him as someone that's willing to take it there. So this battle in Drake's eyes, there's no stress, there's no tension. Like to him, this doesn't even seem like beef. Next, we see one of the funniest shots in the video where Drake has two cakes decorated, one saying happy co-parenting and the other saying happy divorce. As I explained earlier, I have a hunch that Drake is bang on with the co-parenting angle. However, Kendrick and Whitney...
Hey, Miss B, you on point with that goddamn Petty LaBelle. That's who the fuck Drake is.
were never married, so this divorce cake could simply be symbolizing the relationship failed due to Kendrick's misdeeds.
Daddy got robbed by top. You stunning and Wayne like father like son.
Drake makes a reference to Kendrick's track Duckworth, and if we're going to talk about storytelling in music, not just hip-hop, this has to be one of the best storytelling tracks of all time.
Your dad was working at KFC.
Yep.
Top Dog went in to rob KFC. Is this right? Because you've written songs about this.
Yeah.
Drake draws a powerful parallel in this line, implying that while Top Dog may not have literally robbed Kendrick's father, he did exploit him, and Drake suggests that Top Dog has done the same thing to Kendrick, hence the phrase, like father, like son. And I don't want to hear anybody say that, oh, you don't understand Duckworth, bro, you just don't get it. Like, Kendrick's dad was getting exploited by Top Dog. He was afraid of him. It's no different than what the mob was doing back in the day. The mob was getting free bread and free meat, free whatever they wanted because they were feared. The locals were afraid of them, and it's no different here. It's the same exact thing. Drake also cleverly references the relationship between Birdman and Wayne, a father and son dynamic that ultimately soured, leading Wayne to sue Birdman over money he believed he was owed. So it is a pretty hard line, especially coming off Push-Ups, where he accused TDE of extorting Kendrick for 50%.
Anthony set up the plays. Kojo be charging you double for none.
Drake claims that when Kendrick was signed to TDE, Anthony Top Dog was the one that was calling all the shots when it came to business. It's here where he insinuates that Kendrick is absolutely...
Man, why somebody text me talking about they having a motherfucking Diddy party? I was like, man, get the fuck off my phone. Why they text me talking about, man, shit, what you doing? I'm on stream, bro. What the fuck you doing? Get over this bitch finna have a Diddy party. These motherfuckers crazy, bro.
Absolutely clueless when it comes.
People. I just hate people. People are so unserious. Ain't nobody serious nowadays. These motherfuckers talking about they finna have a Diddy party tonight, man. Sick of shit. Sick of people.
Comes to business because it's likely that the creative direction and production of Mr. Morale were driven by Kendrick and his team at PG Lang, and under this direction, the album was the worst-selling project to date. TDE seemingly had limited involvement in this album since it was widely known that this was his last project with them. Drake drives this home even further by making a reference to an artist named Duval Kojo Timothy, who was credited as a producer on 4 of Kendrick's songs from Mr. Morale, and it's here where Drake is saying that without Top Dawg, Kendrick is getting ripped off because he doesn't know what he's doing. Drake claims that he got charged double for production on an album that didn't even sell well.
Thanks, hell no, it's right. Get the fuck out of my phone. That's what that was.
Now, I don't know where Drake got this Kojo info or even if it's true, but I do still like the angle he took. He's basically saying that without TDE, Kendrick's lost. He doesn't know what he's doing. And then he backs that up with the fact that Mr. Morale didn't perform well. However, this line could be a double.
I'm blowing down my little my bomb right now, y'all. I want to keep this one. I'm gonna try to keep this little stream in the green. Yeah, we just gonna turn up. We're gonna turn up on one of them channels that's not monetized. Smoke big with y'all, everything. But yeah, on this channel, I'm just start turning the camera off when I'm hitting the bong. At least like when I got the blunt, I could like say that's a cigar. Motherfuckers smoke cigars on YouTube all day, so them easy. That's an easy fix on them. But yeah, that's all. I just let people know what I'm doing when I'm turning the camera off. Motherfuckers getting accused of doing cocaine and some more shit. Look. I ain't snorting a goddamn thing around here. You know what I'm saying? Just being transparent, that's all. You motherfucker crazy.
Entendre, as Anthony is not just the name of Top Dawg, but Kendrick's manager as well, and rumors have sparked up that there's potential Kendrick was using bots. And I gotta be honest, I did not look into any of these bot allegations or any of that, so leave it in the comments, fill me in. Drake insinuates that the people close to Kendrick are shook because they know Drake has some damaging secrets, but at the same time, they're pretending to be confident in front of Kendrick. So it didn't age very well, but again, this is how much stock Drake put into this information. Next, visually, we see a studio, and I did look this up, and it's safe to say that this is indeed Drake's home studio. You'll also notice that a bra is hanging directly to the right of the camera, and it's hard to say who this belongs to, as Drake is known for getting plenty of bras thrown at him while on tour. But you can best believe that this is there for a good reason.
Man, somebody got more bras than Target. That mother got more bras than Victoria's Secret in that bitch, boy.
It's likely related to a girl connected to any one of these rappers that he's dissing. I mean, without more context, it's pretty much impossible to find out who owns this thing. But
you go over Drake's house, you a girl without no bra at all. Anyway, hey, boo, I got you. What size you is? What cup you? What? Yeah, I got. Damn, Drake got all the goddamn bras, nigga.
Guarantee it is there for a reason.
You tell me what I shouldn't say, but fucking my nigga, it's already done.
Drake refers to Kendrick's threats on Euphoria when he told Drake not to take things further, and just like I said earlier, this was something that Kendrick clearly felt he needed to get in front of.
We already know it's a 20v1, we already know why you went #1, it's clearly because of the boy.
Drake is quick to remind everyone that he's up against a lot of people in this war, and he's quick to take credit for helping Kendrick go #1 with the Like That record, and no matter how you want to spin this thing, Drake has a very valid point. Kendrick's last album didn't have a single #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. In fact, the last time he had a #1 was nearly 8 years ago with Humble. It wasn't until 2024 that he secured 2 #1 records with Like That and Not Like Us. So at the end of the day, out of the 4 #1s that Kendrick has, 2 of them are dissing Drake. So whether you like it or not, it's a fact. Those records wouldn't have went #1 without the element of dissing Drake. They wouldn't have.
Right about for the big 3. It's only Big D in this video proof.
Drake responds to Kendrick's claims on the Like That record when he said this.
Motherfuck the big 3. Nigga, it's just big me. Nigga, boom.
So Drake is repositioning the placement again by claiming that it's only Big D, and this acts as a double entendre where one...
We've all been there. Second-guessed, underestimated, while we work to obtain the American...
Big D is obviously short for Big Drake. And 2, he says there's video proof because a video leaked of Drake showing his I'm not explaining this one, you guys. If you know, you know. And we can't forget that this line is obviously another shot at J. Cole as well, as Drake again counts him out. I mean, if you ask me, it seems like Drake does not mess with Cole anymore. He's been taking a bunch of shots at him. It's at this point in the video where we see a shot of memorabilia that is likely kept in Drake's studio. First, I want to point out the bobblehead on the far right, which is a limited edition Mac Dre figure from his album The US Open. Mac Dre is synonymous with the Bay Area, and Drake is a well-documented superfan. Drake actually brought Mac Dre's mother on stage one time.
I don't know if y'all know who this is, but she goes by the name of Mac Wanda, and she birthed a man named Mac Dre.
Next on the far left is a Michael Jackson action figure from circa 1995. I found the actual doll, and it is a fairly rare special edition that does have a button on it that when pressed plays the black and white song. He's just really mocking Kendrick even more here. The next figure took me an extremely long time to find. I couldn't really tell who the character was at all, but this is a retro toy of Jimi Hendrix from a company called Mego, and it depicts his infamous performance at the Monterey Pop Festival in 1967. However, I feel like Drake has this in the video for a very particular reason, as Hendrix was well known for surrounding himself with white groupies, and Kendrick is on record as saying he wanted to be remembered someday just like Jimi Hendrix. So Hendrix was with the white groupies, and so was Kendrick, and I got a feeling that Drake knows more about this than what we know. Lastly, we have the signed glove, which also took a long time to find because I kept trying to tie this glove to Michael Jackson.
He hit Taylor Swift. Kendrick done hit Taylor Swift. Ah, shit, these niggas invite me to. What's good, my niggas? I ain't shit trying to warm up. Cuz.
But I eventually did link this autograph to none other than Tiger Woods. Now, Tiger in particular is a well-documented milkman who, like Kendrick, has a past of infidelity. Drake begins with a hypothetical scenario suggesting that their two sons go on a playdate at the park together. He uses this opportunity to emphasize that both children are light-skinned. Although Kendrick's child isn't anywhere near to as light as Drake's, Drake leverages this to subtly accuse Kendrick of
Oh shit, the goddamn party coming. We gotta wrap this shit up, cause these niggas ready to hoop.
of hypocrisy. So this is the beginning of a framework for what's to come, but basically he's just reminding the whole world that this is Kendrick's reality, right? He does have mixed children, and he does seem to prefer lighter complected women.
Unless you don't want to be seen with anyone that isn't blacker than you.
He follows this up with a funny remark hinting that Kendrick might feel embarrassed to be seen with his son due to his complexion. And this is really the beginning of him setting up the framework to claim that Kendrick really wants to be with white chicks, right? That's truly what he wants. But because he's Kendrick Lamar and he has this persona, he's not able to really do what he truly wants. He has to hide it. He's embarrassed to be seen. Something also worth mentioning is that in this third verse, Drake tends to match a lot of the visuals with the lyrics. In the case of this section, we see the outside of a studio booth, and you'll notice that when the sign flashes to signal that a live recording is taking place, it's perfectly timed with the words "seen."
Unless you don't want to be seen with anyone that isn't blacker than you.
Everyone is raving about the best origin movie ever made. Come on! We cut it.
As far as what this symbolizes, Drake could be simply saying that it's on Family Matters where Kendrick is getting exposed, or Drake could be saying that he has a recording on Kendrick. Now, this is obviously a huge assumption, and it seems unlikely to me because it would have made a lot more sense to put any damaging footage out by now, but we'll have to see where this whole thing goes.
Get it, he got it. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Drake's entire sequence here is exceptionally clever. He seizes another chance to mock Kendrick's Black Messiah persona by referencing the line from Kendrick's track, Blacker the Berry. The phrase, blacker the berry, sweeter the juice, is typically associated with black empowerment, symbolizing that darker skin is more beautiful and more connected to one's roots. Kendrick has used this phrase himself, but Drake seems fed up with what he perceives to be one massive grift because, as we all know, romantically, Kendrick doesn't seem to really believe this, as by all accounts, he's attracted to much lighter complexions. Drake then continues to drive home the hypocrisy by implying that Kendrick mixes gin in his juice, which is a reference to Kendrick's history with lighter complected women, as well as a reference to Snoop's West Coast smash, Gin and Juice.
Man, so it's still 20 minutes left. We're going to start the next stream out finishing this joint and get into whatever the next content is for the next stream. I got to get the fuck up out of here. I got to go to the store, make me a little drink run, too. I definitely ain't got enough drink to get through the night. Yep, man. Hey, a little warm-up stream, get back in the flow. I'm going to be definitely more consistent on this channel for sure. Appreciate everybody for pulling up. Appreciate everybody hitting that like button too as well. Catch y'all later, G. You know what I'm saying? Streets need me. Time to get the fuck off the tube. Gotta go. I'll be good. And I'm definitely gonna be spinning on Uncut later, so you can't sleep. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna do it on Uncut. I ain't even gonna do it on Uncut. I'm gonna do it on Mob Only Live. I'm about to drop the channel in the chat where I'm gonna be DJing tonight. Y'all to make sure you subscribe to this joint if you're not already. What the fuck is it though? I don't even. I gotta do it on my phone. Oop. Dang, we done got 2 more subscribers too. Yeah. Yeah. Let me check. Oh, there it go. This me. That's the channel right there. How about now? I'll go over to this account. Back to chat, press paste, nigga. So yeah. Just want to be DJing that later on. Y'all subscribed over there. I'm gonna put it in the community while too as well. OG Young, day ones, them was like, appreciate y'all pulling up for real dope.